man. This is a truism.
So you've got nothing. Cool. I agree that you don't know then. Let's carry on.
Listen, you see the sky being blue, but it's a big world. Maybe in another part of the world, it's not blue. You can like make that argument everywhere. But wherever you go, the
Wonderful.
sky is still blue. Unless it's like nighttime or
Yeah,
something like that.
that's my
you have the position, Druss. You have the position where we can never know anything.
No,
It's
no,
your
I
position.
don't. I absolutely don't. I believe that we can know lots of things. I agree that truth is one of those things that we have a problem with. Whenever we talk about knowledge, we're talking about justification, and we're still in the world of subjectivity, i.e., but we come to consensus and agreement through testing and validation. Percentage just thinks it's flat, so cool, that's his opinion.
No,
Don't give a
I
shit.
see it's flat. It's
No, you think
observably
it's
flat and motionless. Do you feel like you're moving right now? No, right? So if you're going to
Yeah,
claim that you're moving, you have to prove it.
I've also been in rotating restaurants where it doesn't feel like I'm moving, but I am.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
Well, see, that's your problem. So again, that's just another subjective opinion from you, and I want objective, definitive proof, which
Just
you cannot provide to your standard.
So
why is he trying to describe the Earth as it when he's got such a tiny, tiny little, section of it that he's seeing that he's saying he sees it as flat, and wishes to extrapolate that to the entirety of the Earth?
Yo, what are you talking about, man?
What kind of logic is that?
It's the horizon is observably flat and the Earth is motionless everywhere.
How much of it are you seeing?
Enough to say that.
At one time. At one time.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it does matter.
It's never changed, so that's how it is.
Oh, that's some pretty poor thinking there, but it's what I expect from you. So kudos for that. Keep being predictable.
Now, Druss, this revolving restaurant, it's revolving because you step on it, right? From the control, which is, the Earth not moving. And you step on it and you realize that it's moving, right?
Nope, you wouldn't notice.
I didn't notice at all. So I'm talking about the Western, the restaurant at the top of the Western Hotel in Atlanta. That's one I've definitely been to, which is, in the same country as you. I didn't realize it was and it's why I remember this story so well, because I didn't realize it was a rotating restaurant until someone pointed it out to me because I was facing towards the center. And I just didn't notice. So I didn't feel any motion whatsoever. And then when I thought, oh yeah, we moved. How fucking weird is that?
Now,
so
when they pointed
I
it
didn't
out,
feel any motion,
what did
but
they
I
use
was
to point it out?
moving. So the whole thing I'm trying to say there is that just because you don't feel that motion doesn't mean there is motion below your ability to feel that it's there.
I get you.
The
But what
same
did they
way
use to
as
point
you
it out?
don't know it's flat because you've only seen tiny portions of it.
Druss.
So why the claim?
Very, very sloppy of you. How do you know the restaurant was rotating and that the restaurant was not rotating the world around you?
That is a very good question. I don't know that. I could not tell that without other external evidences. I agree with you, Kurt.
So, Druss, when your friend pointed it out to you, what did they use to point it out?
Their finger.
No.
The change in the background over time.
What had changed?
The change in the background over time, but he felt nothing.
Mouse and Druss, bro.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was the fact that he pointed and said, "Oh, do you like the rotating restaurant? It's really cool. It's one of the few ones. I think it's the only one in Atlanta." Blah blah blah. Was the conversation? I said, "Is it rotating?" And he went, "Yeah." I looked around, didn't see any movement. Looked back, I had a bit more of my rather nice steak, porterhouse, by the way. And looked back again, and I could see that we've moved.
What did
and
you
that's
look
the only way
back
I know. Other buildings in the distance.
Other buildings in the distance, which you used as a control because you know them to be motionless, right?
Oh, like the stars.
Well, no, I mean, again,
no, he didn't say stars. He said buildings in the background,
made a very good point. I don't know whether that restaurant had the ability to rotate the Earth around me, or whether it itself was rotating. So, as I say, without any external evidence to that, from a purely objective, a definitive way, I'd have a problem establishing that. Obviously, I rely on my body of knowledge, which says that it would be ridiculous to consider that. And it's obviously we're rotating and not the Earth, the same way as it's ridiculous to think that the sky's rotating and not us when it's us rotating and not the sky.
Okay.
Same thing.
Just from a purely objective and definitive way, you've shown two differences right now. You've shown, number one, that it's verifiable, that you can test it. okay, as opposed to your claim about the Earth.
Oh no, we
Number
can
two,
verify.
Hold
that.
on,
shown that
Andrews.
you
Let
use-
him get
hold
your
up.
points
Number
up.
two, you've shown that you use the buildings as the control. That they're motionless things that you compared to realize that it is moving. Okay,
Wait, but you
all the
said you
buildings
can
were
feel
moving.
it.
that the
Yeah,
Earth is
all the
motionless.
buildings were moving. And again, you can say that with the night sky. So all you can do when you look up at the night sky, the same as the restaurant, you've got
No, but we can
those
verify
points
the
of,
buildings.
you've got those points of reference. Yeah, which is why you're in the I don't know camp.
Hold up. Are you
percentage.
saying the buildings are
You're-
moving?
If you're in
Could be.
the I don't know camp because you don't
He
know
did
whether
say
the
that the
stars
buildings are
moving or
moving.
whether the Earth is moving.
No, hold up, Druss. We know that the stars are moving
So
regardless,
can you,
right?
No.
Now, if you're not
know,
in this
can you
rotating restaurant,
definitively-
are the buildings moving?
Can you
Don't know.
definitively and objectively show me that the stars are moving and not the Earth?
No, you said the buildings are
The stars
moving.
look like they're moving, yeah.
They look like they're moving. Can you definitively and objectively
No, but that's not what we're
demonstrate that?
talking about right now. We're talking about you on
Fine,
this
that is what we're
rotating
talking about,
restaurant,
because I'm
and you're
making
using
the
the
analogy
buildings
between.
as the motionless object.
Timo, are you
Yeah.
going to ask him to let me finish?
No, because he's asking you about what you said.
The buildings look like they're moving, and sitting there eating dinner, I don't feel like I'm spinning.
But we know buildings don't move because you could sit there.
Also, the buildings
and
don't
stare
look
at
like
them
they're
and they don't move. You know that you're on the moving restaurant because you first off you already stepped on the moving restaurant. You know it, right?
I mean,
And
No, I
you
didn't.
could get really silly and ask, how do you know that
maybe you were
the
holding it,
restaurant
you weren't
isn't
told that it was a moving
stationary?
restaurant, but still you
How do you know the
that
restaurant's not the
background is
stationary
changing.
thing, and the Earth is moving around it? How do you know that?
The point is, he said that the background changed, right? The background being the buildings, which don't normally change. So that at that point,
That
he
tells
knows
you
he's on a moving
something's
body.
moving.
Yeah, you know something's
Relative
moving. You don't
to
know
each
what.
other.
And you ran away from when I took that analogy to the stars and the Earth, and we know that either the stars are moving or the Earth is moving. But according to your standard of evidence, you don't know. You cannot tell between the two.
How are you?
Okay, first off, according to my standard of evidence, we have empiric evidence that say the stars are moving because we don't feel any motion ourselves. And
We don't feel any motion on the rotating
literally see
restaurant.
them moving. That's what we see, right? Now
Yeah,
you could say it's an
but
optical
we
illusion or
don't
something like
feel
that,
any
but the
movement
burden
on the
of proof is
rotating
on you.
restaurant. So the lack of
And the
feel.
analogy is a false analogy. Hold up, real quick. The analogy is a false analogy because we can verify whether this rotating restaurant is rotating. We can't verify whether or not the Earth is rotating.
We built
That's
the
all
Exactly.
restaurant.
So you're in the I don't know camp. You can't verify whether it's rotating or not. So therefore, you do not know. According to your standard of evidence, we're back to the same point again, and you will now try and deviate again. Carry on.
No, I'm not trying to deviate. I
Can
agree with you.
verify
I
it.
agree with you. If we had no other information, we couldn't make that claim. But the truth of the matter is, we have our default, our definitive empirical evidence is telling us that the Earth is motionless, and we see the sun, the moon, the stars. We see those moving. So that's the default. That's matches
you
our
don't know.
observations.
You
If you're a
don't know.
realist, that matches your observations. You can claim that you
don't
don't rely
know.
on your senses, but you do every single day. So if
You
you're
don't
just
know.
skeptical of your senses for no reason right now,
You don't
that sounds
know.
kind of
You don't know.
suspicious.
You don't know whether the Earth is moving or the stars are moving. The same way as I didn't feel the motion in the restaurant, we don't feel the motion on the Earth. So you saying the fact that you don't feel that motion is not a good indicator because we have plenty of other examples where you're in motion but you do not feel it.
Again, according to our senses, we know it beyond a reasonable doubt. Right now, if you're claiming it's the otherwise,
No, you haven't
if you're claiming that we don't have
demonstrated
enough justification, that it's alternate hypothesis, the burden of proof is on you. You can't run from it.
No. I'm asking you to establish your claim. Your claim is the fact that the Earth is stationary. I do not believe your claim. Therefore, I'm asking you to validate it. And the only thing you've given me is a few little anecdotals, which I don't really give a shit about. So
It's not
again,
a claim,
according
it's a
to your
truism.
standard
It
of
feels
evidence, I
motionless.
haven't finished my point. So according to your standard of evidence, you're still in the camp of I don't know.
It feels motionless.
Cool.
That's
Good for
it's
you.
a truism, bro.
Don't care
You
about
can't
your
argue
feelings.
against
So did
it.
the restaurant.
You have to disprove it with your own proof.
So did the
No.
restaurant.
If you're not claiming the Earth is stationary, cool, I don't mind. We've not got a problem. If you're claiming the Earth is stationary, then you need to demonstrate your claim.
I'm claiming the Earth is observably motionless. It's observably stationary.
So
And
is it
it's not even
stationary?
simply a claim that requires a burden of proof. It is a truism. Again, it's a truism.
No, it's a claim that requires a burden of proof.
Easily evident. You feel yourself that you're not moving. You said yourself.
Yeah,
you
and
agree
I
with
didn't feel
that.
myself moving in the rotating restaurant.
That's fine, but we can verify that, and now you can't verify your claim.
So you're in the camp of I don't know because you cannot verify whether
Nah,
your
man, we're going in
hypothesis is
circles.
true.
We're going in rotations, man.
Yes, we are, because you keep shifting, trying to shift the burden of proof, because you're in the camp of I don't
Incorrect.
know. You think that the Earth is stationary. You don't know it. You can't verify that it's stationary. Therefore, you don't know it. And what you're trying to say is, well, that's the truism. Therefore, you need to prove me wrong, is the shifting of the burden of proof. Now, either you're claiming the Earth is stationary or you're not. If you're not claiming it's stationary, then we don't have a discussion.
Again, it's a plainly, easily evident thing, just like the sky being blue, just like the grass being green. You could argue that the grass isn't actually green. It's just the way that the light reflects into your eyes. It looks green, but it's not really green. You could claim that all
And
color
we know,
is just stuff that's reflecting into your eyes, and that nothing actually has color.
and we
But the
know.
point is, these things are plainly obvious using our senses. If you are disillusioned and you don't trust your senses, that's fine.
I trust my senses, but I also realize that my senses have limitations. That's why I need a microscope to look at very small things, or a telescope to look at things that are far away. I have limitations. The same with my ability to sense movement. It
Okay,
has a
but would you agree
limitation.
that your
So
senses give you some
therefore,
evidence?
haven't finished my point, but thanks for interrupting yet again.
Well, you
So
paused, though.
therefore, you cannot say that it's not moving. All you can basically say, it seems to be below my ability to sense any movement. That doesn't mean it's not moving, and that's where I have a problem, because it's not a fucking truism under that.
That's what I said, though. I said it's observably motionless. That means we don't observe the motion. So yes, if there was moving, it would be underneath. It would be below our threshold for observation, because it's observably
Cool.
motionless.
So you're in the I don't know camp.
No,
Thank
that's
you.
not. Again, though, because just like the grass is observably green, you could claim that maybe it's not actually green. You could claim that the sky is not actually blue. But the point is, those are truisms. They're easily obvious, and if you're arguing against them because they're the default, you have to have a burden of proof for your alternate hypothesis.
Observably motionless is not true if it's in motion.
But that would be a false analogy to compare that with green grass or blue sky.
Yeah, because what we're seeing is something referenced against something else, which is the sky's moving or we're moving. Those are the two options.
We have good senses for seeing green grass or blue, but we have no sense for feeling motion.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. We have senses. We have senses.
Look up your vestibulocochlear system.
We have senses. We have senses for detect. We have senses for detecting acceleration, not motion. They are not the same thing.
Yes, they are.
You can feel like you're moving when you're not moving.
What?
Just as easily.
They're not the same.
Feel like you're moving when you're not moving. You understand that, don't you?
What's that?
You can feel like you're moving when you're not moving. You do understand that, don't you?
Yes. If your
Like the
vestibulocochlear
first
system
5 or 6 days after coming back on shore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one example. All you got to do is spin around in a circle for about 10 seconds and stop. You will feel like you're still moving.
Yeah, when you fuck up your vestibulocochlear systems, your core balance and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Percentage.
So
What's the name of that system?
your senses are not 100%.
Vestibulocochlear.
Vestibulocochlear?
Vestibulocochlear. VESTIBULO
Vestibular.
COCHLEAR.
All right, thanks. Said they did tests on this though, and there was this an amount to where it gets so low to where a human can't. That doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, and that's the point I've got with Percentage's point, Jeremy, is the fact that he wants to say this is a truism, yet we're pointing out all the problems of why it isn't a truism.
You haven't pointed out a single problem.
Yeah, I have. The sky's rotating or we're rotating. Those are the two things. We observe that. We cannot tell from ourselves. The only thing that we can say is we don't feel we don't feel an acceleration or deacceleration, which is actually what you do feel. Great point, Mr. Logo. So again, to me, I still haven't seen you justify your point that the Earth is stationary. If you'd like to try and do that again, that would be cool. But what I don't want is your anecdotal, oh well, it feels like this or it feels like that. I don't care about your feelings. I want the actual evidence percentage.
Listen,
Do you have it
feel
in an
acceleration.
objective, definitive way?
We feel acceleration, right?
Yeah.
Yes, above a certain threshold.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not the same as motion. Don't confuse them.
So you're saying there's a threshold that we don't feel acceleration, right?
Yep.
Now, can we observe this acceleration in any other way?
No.
What's the threshold?
Yep, more sensitive equipment.
It's probably a subjective threshold. There's, I've never seen this thing.
So an accelerometer is a good example of that, where we can make accelerometers that are way more sensitive than human senses. We could use, various things like gyros. That's another good indicator that obeys certain laws and principles that we have good understanding of. But really, for me, fuck it. We got shed loads of evidence from space, shed loads of stuff being sent up space, which
You want to present any of that evidence?
I have great confidence in.
So, no need to monologue to us. We're looking for evidence. Yeah, evidence.
Percentage, can you give?
Sorry, go on, Lager.
Percentage, can you give a definition of motion versus acceleration? Thank you.
I'd say all acceleration is motion, but not all motion is acceleration.
Oh, that was well put. Well said.
That
defines motion is not equivalent to acceleration.
That does not define the expressions.
What do you mean?
It does not give a definition.
Well, we all know the definitions, bro. Why are you
When
doing
one
that?
is included in the other one, that does not define the expressions.
You can go farther if you want to, but what you said right there already contradicts his claim that motion is acceleration.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Well, if I did, then I must have missed. I meant acceleration is motion. If I said that.
Well, all the motion you guys have been talking about so far today has been an acceleration motion. Everything was rotating, right? You had everything rotating?
Yeah, we're talking about
That's all
rotation. It's acceleration.
Yeah, there hasn't been a point today where we talked about motion without acceleration.
If something is consistently going 60 miles an hour, it's in motion, but it's not accelerating.
Right, but everything we've talked about so far today has been motion with acceleration. They have been talking about things rotating and spinning.
But if the Earth is rotating at 1,000 miles an hour consistently forever, it's not accelerating. It's going 1,000 miles an hour and staying there. It's not accelerating. It's going 1,000 miles an hour.
It's going in a circuit. Right, you got me, Lael. You got me.
No, it has motion, but it doesn't have acceleration.
You're incorrect, but if anyone
Listen, it has centrifugal force, right?
I'm 100% correct.
It has.
If the Earth is rotating 1,000 miles an hour, and it consistently rotates at 1,000 miles an hour, it's in motion.
Lael, is it moving linear or non-linear?
There is not acceleration because it's going the same speed.
Is the Earth moving in a linear path or non-linear path?
If the rotation of the Earth is 1,000 miles an hour.
Don't answer my question because it proves you're wrong. But okay.
No, if the rotation of the Earth is 1,000 miles an hour.
Still don't answer it.
He did answer. He said the rotation.
1,000 years from now, and it will be continuously that speed. Then it's in motion, but it's not accelerating.
Yes, it is. It's constantly accelerating to maintain that constant speed.
There we go.
It is acceleration. If it's rotating, it's accelerating, even if it's staying at the same speed.
There we go. Thank you, Gary.
I disagree.
I'm not Gary.
Oh, my bad. Who are you?
Nick.
Oh, thanks, Nick.
I'm Gary.
They sound alike. Come on, guys.
I'm a person right now.
Jeremy, that's why I use a particular word threshold in my response to percentage.
If something stays at a constant speed forever.
Oh my God, Lael's still on.
Whatever.
Lael, you're wrong,
speed
bro.
That is, it is motion, but it's not acceleration because it's staying at a constant speed.
Is it moving in a linear or non-linear path?
Jeremy, if it's consistently staying the same speed.
If it's rotation, it's still accelerating. Even though it's staying the same speed, it's accelerating because it has to make up for the energy loss due to
it's an angular change is the term you're looking for, percentage.
It's consistently always traveling at 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, but is there a change? Is the angular momentum changing? So it's rotating, so therefore you've got angular change, and therefore you're gonna look at it that way, and I agree. And we more feel that through the centrifugal or centrifugal force. I always get the two fucking mixed up.
Which stems from your vestibulocochlear system.
No, your vestibulocochlear is what gives you balance and allows you to sense acceleration or deceleration. You also feel that with your touch sense as well, through pressure being exerted on the body through acceleration and deceleration. If you ride a motorbike, you'd know all of this shit, mate.
I gotta look into this vestibulocochlear.
Motorbike. That's what you need to do, Jeremy. Get a motorbike. You'll learn all this.
No, I
shit.
gotta look into this vestibulocochlear thing.
Hey, Foolish.
It's a little hoopy bit that sits inside your ear with liquid.
Foolish, I don't disagree with you that the Earth is speeding up and slowing down, and that is acceleration. But I'm just saying, if it were to stay at a constant speed of 1,000 miles an hour at the equator forever, then that would be motion, but not.
Is that a linear? Are you traveling in a linear path at the equator? I'm standing at the equator. Is that 1,000 miles an hour linear or non-linear?
1,000 miles an hour.
This is a simple question, Lael. I'm at the equator. Am I moving in a linear or non-linear path at 1,000 miles an hour?
You're at the equator. You're just standing there. You're not. You're in a linear
or non-linear?
If you're just standing on the equator, you're just standing there. You yourself in that frame of reference are on a linear path.
Are you serious? Today.
I don't get how that negates what I'm saying, but whatever.
So we're at the equator. We're moving 1,000 miles an hour in a straight path. This is what you're saying. It's not curving. It's linear.
I never said that.
Okay, so I could have swore you just said that. Let's pretend you didn't. So we're moving in a non-linear path, right?
I said rotation.
In a rotation. So
is standing on a linear path. You're not moving.
So you're saying it is linear.
Moving, but you are not.
So you are moving, so you're not moving.
Earth is moving and you are not. You're just standing still.
Yeah.
So you're on a linear path following the rotation of the Earth.
Which is a straight line. Okay, the rotation of the Earth, that's not linear. That's an... Well, come on, bro. They just told you were wrong. Why are you not listening to them?
No. They told me the Earth is accelerating and decelerating. Perfect. I don't have a problem with that. I'm saying you yourself staying still on the equator is following the linear path of the rotation of the Earth. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you're wrong.
I am right.
Jeremy, can you draw a line in a circle?
Let's get done with Lael's ridiculous thing before you jump in with some non sequitur red herring bullshit.
Well, no, this is his point. Can you draw a line, take a line, and draw a circle with one line?
I could, without lifting the pen off the paper, sure, I could draw a circle without doing that. Why?
Okay, so that is linear, right? It is a line.
No.
Going in a circle, but it's still one line.
Your wedding ring is one line in a circle. Earth itself can be moving in
linear motion.
You with your reference frame staying straight on the equator, standing still.
Hold on, Lael.
You're moving in a linear motion with the Earth's rotation.
All right. Linear motion is the movement of an object in one dimension from one place to another in a straight line.
Right. You are standing on the equator, standing still. You are in linear motion with the Earth. The Earth can be...
So you're moving in a straight... So you're going in a straight line.
You're not moving. So yes.
So there's no movement then. So we're not moving.
No, you are not moving. The Earth is moving.
Then there's no motion. If I'm not moving, there's no motion. The motion the Earth's making, spinning around in a non-linear motion.
Is Jeremy practicing some new verbal acrobatics?
No, Dale's just talking bullshit.
See, I don't know what. Okay, I'm not even gonna. Lael, if the Globers want to correct
you, a car and it's moving.
Listen, this guy's got your back.
Yes, you are moving.
If the Globers want to correct these guys that think you're moving in a linear motion, go ahead. If not, then fine. I don't care.
I was trying to say if you're on a moving body, but you're not like yourself, causing any movement, that you're not moving.
You can be sitting still in a car that is moving.
How about you moving in a linear fashion
in that moving
away
car,
from your microphone, Pokuntic?
Extraordinarily tedious.
You're still moving in that moving car, Lael.
Herb, you gonna handle this with Lael or what?
Lael is his own creation. He can say what he wants, whether it represents what he thinks or not. I know this much about Lael. Lael always thinks the correct thing. He doesn't.
I mean, I commend the guy that jumped in and tried to save him.
Words. He does. I'm sorry. I must have stopped or something.
I thought you were done, my bad.
Yeah, I know. It happens. So, but he doesn't always use the right words to convey what the correct thoughts that he has.
Yeah, I commend the guy that jumped in and tried to save him, but I mean, he was wrong too. I don't know what his point was about the pen and the paper.
No, Lael is not wrong.
Lael was wrong, and the guy was trying to, Jeremy, the guy was trying to break it down from like linear motion. He was trying to just take the word linear only and, make the argument that way. So basically, he was taking the definition out of context.
But Lael is not
straight
incorrect.
line curves.
What he says can be incorrect, but Lael is still correct.
All right.
Sit in a moving car and stay still in that moving car with reference to where I'm sitting.
Exactly.
Yeah, with reference to the internal of the car, but you're still moving in totality.
You can't say Lael's trying to say you're moving and not moving at the same time or some shit. Are we moving? Is there movement, Lael, or no?
The car is moving. You are in a car that is moving.
You're moving.
Still within that car, within the reference
there's no movement.
of the car, you can sit still.
So we're talking about no movement.
No. He's contradicting what he said earlier,
sitting
Jeremy.
Still not moving or the movement?
Is your body moving though, Lael?
Lael, are we talking about you not moving or you moving? Which one do you want to talk about? Because if you're not moving, then there's nothing to talk about because there's no motion.
Still in the car, not moving.
Then
you
there's
yourself
we have no motion to talk about because
you don't like the fact that you can sit in a car that has motion and you yourself doesn't have motion.
The fuck
no
out
false
of
dichotomy, Adam Lael.
Get out of here, Curve.
You can be moving and stationary at the same time.
Okay, if we're talking about the stationary thing, then we're not talking about any kind of motion, so there's nothing to talk about.
Jeremy, god damn it.
There's no motion.
Pick your rotation frame, Jeremy.
Sitting still, no motion.
What is your rotation frame?
We're not talking about any rotation or any movement because the guy's just sitting still, and we're not talking about any motion. There's no motion involved in the guy standing still. Now, do you want to talk about where the guy's
You could be sitting still in a car. You could be sitting still on a plane. You could be sitting still on a train. You could be sitting still on Earth.
And if you want to talk about those motions, if you want to talk about the motions of those movements, then fine. But if we're just talking about the guy sitting there not moving, there's no motion to talk about. This is stupid. I can't. What do you?
If you're just talking about the guy who's standing there, but if you also want to add in what he's fucking standing on or what he's standing in, then yeah, you're gonna have to talk about that. But if it's just him, then yeah,
that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Leo's talking about a guy standing on Earth He's not moving, but he's moving in a linear motion. So we're talking, obviously talking about the path the guy's moving on, the Earth is taking.
Jeremy,
this is where
now,
the acrobatics come in.
Right now, Jeremy, you're the guy. You're standing on the Earth. Now, your rotation frame is moving. So you're moving with the rotation frame. But you're stationary relative to the rotation frame, even though while you're fixed relative to the rotating frame, you are still yourself spiraling relative to the frame.
Sounds like only the globers are spiraling.
Just stop.
I'm spitting facts, yo.
Can you take care of this or what, Curve? Do I? If I said some shit like this, you guys.
Lael is correct. What do you want me to take care of?
You guys would be freaking out right now if I said what Lael just said.
But you're arrogant, and Lael is correct.
Go
back to EQ Guy's got a point here to listen to, Jeremy. Listen to EQ Guy. Good EQ Guy.
On a side note, I'm up 185%.
What does that even mean?
Cryptocurrency, yeah.
Hey, you want a little applesauce?
A lot of shite.
You wanna know which one I'm in? ZRX. Fucking yeah.
Do you use Atomic
one
Wallet?
That's not even worth a fifth of a penny?
It's not even worth a fucking 1 penny. No.
Do you use Atomic Wallet?
It's up to $2. No, I'm using what's this app called? Crypto.com.
No doubt.
You gotta buy that shit to make shit, and then when you've made shit, you end up fucking selling the shit to buy more shit, so you don't make no, so it's a fucking scam.
Not this, you don't gotta pay whenever you transfer things over. You don't gotta pay when you deposit anything in. And I got in at ZRX at.
When are you gonna have a deposit, or what are you gonna do?
I got in at 0.95. Right now it's at 2.07.
No, hold on, that's not true what he said because I've cashed.
2.45.
That's not true what he said because that's not true what he said because I've cashed out of cryptocurrency before I got hammered with capital gains. That's beside the point, though. It's not a scam. You cash in, you cash out if you want.
Did you use the phone or no?
You look, if you make what, 30, 40 quid a month, then you end up putting all that back in to buy more of that stupid cryptocurrency. So, what's the point?
I just made 400.
It's like buying green and smoking it, then buying more green and smoking it. Same thing. There you go.
I just made $400 overnight. Only putting in like.
He's
nothing.
not smoking the fucking Bitcoin or whatever it was. What is it, Gypsy?
Yeah. Well, cryptocurrency. It's.
Correct. It's not right. Okay. He's not. You know, the cryptocurrency doesn't fucking disappear. He's not consuming it. It's still there.
Check it out. Check out that image. Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, they do that, and then the fucking next day it just goes boom straight back down again, and everybody loses out. There you go.
You gotta cash out. You gotta cash out at the opportune moment.
Yeah, you gotta cash out before you see the drop
not
off.
doing that though, Tao. You can see the fucking. You can see.
Yeah, you've got to watch the graph all the fucking time.
That's what the chart's showing.
I know. It's fucking my mate showed me. He goes, you see
buy
that
low
graph
and sell
there
high.
when it gets right to the top, you sell, because if you don't, it drops off the end and you lose everything. Like,
No, that's not true at all. What I did was I had some Bitcoin and they went to 2,500. I sold some. They went to 3,500. I sold some. They went to 7,500. I sold all the way up to 20 grand. Then as it went back down, I started selling more. I sold some at 17.5, 15 Gs, 10 Gs.
The fractions of fucking Bitcoins.
What I was
So you are actually getting a Bitcoin. No, you are.
I wasn't selling fractions.
Well, if you were selling actual fucking Bitcoins, you'd be a millionaire now.
No, I wouldn't say that, but I made a few bucks.
I had a buddy who bought Bitcoin. He spent $1,000 on Bitcoin when it was at 0.008. or some shit right when it started off. I'm talking like almost 20 years ago. And I ran into him 5 years ago, and he's got a Ferrari. He made fucking, what did he make? He made $800,000 off of fucking Bitcoin.
Some people can do that, but they've got to have the capital to fucking put into it to get the capital out of it.
Not really.
Way back when I was at 0.008.
If you catch these coins at the right time, you can bubble. I had like a few $100 worth of bit beans, and they ended up going to be worth. I had like 10 Bitcoins when it was said and done.
Holy fuck, that's pretty good.
I bought them at 3 Satoshi. You know what a Satoshi is?
No.
I bought them at 3. The last 7 zeros and then a 3. That's what each bit bean was worth in Bitcoin price. And they went up to 300. Not only that, at the same exact moment that happened, that was when Bitcoin rallied the first time and went up to 20 G's.
So what, you kept it in or pulled it out before that?
I sold it on the way up. Bitcoin went to 2,500. I sold some. It went to 3,500, 70. I sold it all the way up, and it would hit 10 G's. I sold some, 15 G's.
Oh yeah, 10% every time.
Then as it started going down, I sold them all the way down to like, I think I stopped at like 10 or 7,500 or something. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just hang on to whatever I got left. I killed it.
This stock is still just green candling fucking nonstop. Just green candle, green candle, green candle.
You should have told us before. The fuck, bro?
Well, fuck, and it's a cheap one too, like $100. I'm already up like 300. Like
you're predicting earthquakes. You can't predict this shit.
No, I don't fucking predict earthquakes.
You guys might want to take a moment to consider of what interest is this to the rest of the people in the room. It's not as though you're discussing cheese or something else that's, entertaining, even if off topic. You guys are up in weeds here. Maybe you should go to like a private room, make a call.
I'm all done. I'm all done. Feel free to talk
you can
about
show
whatever.
each other your portfolios and have a gay old time.
Feel free to talk about anything you want, Curves. Go ahead. What do you got?
Yo, Gypsy, real quick, what program are you using?
Why are you so stupid?
What do you mean? We're done with the thing. What do you want to talk about?
I just asked you. That's my opening question. Why are you so stupid?
I'm not.
And how are we going to have a conversation if you're just going to be disagreeable?
I'm not disagreeable. I'm asking, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, so you agree you are stupid. Then now just tell me why.
With that statement, no, I disagree with that. Yes, I'm very disagreeable in that case.
Did you catch that? Why are you so disagreeable? I'm not disagreeable. That's disagreeing.
You got the eyes of an eagle. Eyes of an eagle, Lil.
You're wrong on this linear motion thing yet, or no?
I'm not wrong. I'm right.
I'll be waiting for your concession later.
I'm not conceding.
You conceive. You need to conceive.
Nope.
Well, somebody along the way is going to tell you, and when they do, let me know.
Are you talking about you want Lael to knock some woman up?
To not what?
To knock a woman up?
It was a joke from last night. I just meant concede.
Oh, okay.
That's the shit we were joking about it last night. You weren't. I don't know if you were here.
I want to know what's causing this obstruction at a distance over flat water.
Could be lots of stuff. Lots of stuff.
What?
You don't even know. Shit you don't even know about.
What could it be, you say? What are you positing and why?
Could be magnification. Could be bending of light due to peaks hitting peaks and peaks hitting troughs. Could be refraction.
It could be a lot of stuff.
Jeremy,
that we don't know. How would you know it if you didn't know it?
wasn't done.
Jeremy, making a list of turds is not an explanation.
Did you want the whole list?
No, I don't want a list. I want an explanation.
You asked what could it be. I'm telling you the things it could be. You want the whole list, or do you want me to stop?
Name one thing and then tell me how. Explain how that could be a cause for what we're seeing.
Okay, first one, refraction causes light to bend up or down.
150 miles, 150 feet up.
Is that all we know?
We know that light
causes
bends
light
up
to bend up or down. Is
light
that
bends.
all that we know?
We know that light can bend up or down. Definitely know that.
And
right?
What's your typical observation in this situation?
The typical observation has the light bending down, obviously.
Okay, so
no, sorry.
That's not going to hide things.
Hold on. Your typical observation has the light bending to where things are being obstructed. So we got it's always sinking.
Okay, explain that to me. How's the light bending so that it appears to be obstructed? What is this direction? What causes this bend by refraction?
What causes the bend? The light going into different gradients. Could be a couple other things. Could be the peaks hitting the peaks, the peaks hitting the troughs. Could be magnification. Do you want the whole list of why the
no,
light
maybe what is causing it to bend the opposite of how we know it bends in this situation?
Well, no, you have a claim that says a light bends down, we see things higher. If you could just prove that definitively over distance in the atmosphere, we could end this whole talk about it.
All of our knowledge of refraction is behind this. It's our understanding of it, knowledge and understanding.
Well, it's also your understanding that Earth
are
is a sphere,
proposing
so, I mean, I guess we could just end there
a hypothetical that is fallen directly from your colon out through your mouth. That's it, with nothing to back it up. Other than it suits your confirmation bias to just make this claim. You have no evidence, no reason to believe that light is acting opposite to how we know it to work.
If it worked any different, Jeremy, than when optometrists give you eye exams, we'd have different. It would show in what they do too. Hi, Curved. How are you today?
Feeling really good today, Lale. Fuck off. How's that?
Tell about the linear motion, Curved, please. Come on, bro.
See?
Why
That's how you know I'm in a good mood, right, Lale?
Curved, why
yeah,
you're
in a peachy keen mood.
What the fuck? You're gonna have Lale walking around the whole time thinking that if you're standing on the Earth, you're moving in a linear motion.
Whatever he thinks is correct, you know.
As a glober,
it's an axiom. It's axiomatic.
Only the lonely.
So is that it? You just want to take the L on this, Jeremy? That's fine.
On what?
It's the best move. It's the best move.
On what?
This refraction thing causing sinking like this as the norm.
Well, according to you guys, you know how this refraction is working, even though you can't demonstrate it over a distance. And what's there left to talk about? This is the same thing as just how the sky works, all that shit. You got just a heavy assumption laid down, and there's no talking you out of it because you have knowledge of refraction that you don't have knowledge of.
How did you arrive at that conclusion?
Because you can't demonstrate it, and nothing else you can demonstrate happening over this long distance in the atmosphere that we got going on here.
our observations support this.
No, your observations, you make the observations and you have ad hoc explanation on how refraction works.
Don't go Latin, Jeremy. You don't do Latin.
But it worked right there, right?
No.
It worked. I used it right.
Can you describe how ad hoc refers to the same thing that what curve that just gave you was? Or how ad hoc applies to
you looked at how the curve you look at how we saw and you're like, oh, it must be a curve. We know it's a curve. So now we need reason.
No, false.
I'm explaining how. Hold on, curved. I'm explaining how this was ad hoc.
We'll do it correctly. Don't straw man us.
So on observation of the light bending of the thing sinking, you're like, oh, light's bending. You saw an example of light's bending. You can see that in the lab. Then you just say, oh, well, this is how it must work over this long distance in the atmosphere, because we need it to be like that for the globe. Yes.
No.
Yes.
We know what the temperature typical gradient is in pressure and density and all that temperature. We know how it behaves going through these.
Nothing ad hoc about it. It's following first principles. That's not ad hoc.
Well, just demonstrate that we can prove it, and this will all be over with.
Genofredo made a fine observation confirming this.
It's going to take more than an observation. All right, what do you got?
You just said, give me an observation. He gave you an observation of Genofredo. Now you're saying you need more than that.
I want a demonstration that the object, if it's actually appearing higher or lower than a horizontal.
The Black Swan.
I've seen the video 100 times.
Black Swan is a great demonstration of refraction.
No, it's an irreconcilable indifference. And stupid to even try and put it into perspective.
I'm saying it's a good demonstration of refraction because it shows how light bends through a gradient and changes the look of an object.
Do you know what irreconcilable means?
Yes, you can't reconcile it.
There you go. So you can't reconcile with what? A stupid indifference. It doesn't work.
Check my stream if you want to see the stocks I'm looking at.
I'm so excited. Wee. Not. But yeah. I was excited for you because you was excited. There you go.
Try to keep your excitement within the rules, please.
Try and keep it a bit. Yeah.
Earthquake guy, were you the one that told me to buy Delta that one time?
If you're coming at me, no, not Delta.
Yeah, of course. Your earthquake counts.
Fucking A.
I made a couple bucks and I got in and out real quick. No, I don't know what it's at now. Bought some Rolls Royce yesterday.
What's the news with GME?
What's up?
What's
the
the news
rules
with
are
GME?
there to be broken. Nah.
It's gonna just drop. GME is gonna just drop and hit fucking back to where it was. It's not retail's done for. They don't have a business model that's like, it's like they're like Blockbuster basically.
Yeah,
They
no
have a
doubt. In the long
massive
run,
overhead. They have a massive overhead, and they just don't have a good business model to compete in today's free market.
I'm kind of curious. Amazon is retail. So what are you talking about retail for? You mean brick and mortar retail?
Yeah.
Cool. But
you know what I meant, Lyle. Stop it.
It's bigger than GME right now. I'm not even talking about like them as a store themselves. In the long run, yeah, they're destined for closure. but I'm talking about how, you know, all the Wall Street Bets guys bought stock just to squeeze the shorts of the hedge funds and stuff like that. What happened with that, if anyone knows?
I mean, going by the chart, I would play the gap right here, but just knowing that's just off the chart and not knowing what happened, but knowing what happened, I wouldn't fuck around with that gap. I would have fucked around with the first gap it made. It made two huge gaps. If you look at the 1 month chart, I definitely would have fucked around with the first gap. But this second gap it made is not. I feel like that's probably not gonna. It's not gonna end up filling that.
Hey Jeremy, question for you. Without math, how do you know what acceleration is?
Without math?
Yeah, without using math. Tell me how to determine my acceleration.
Determine you want to know the amount of acceleration without using math?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of numbers involved in that.
Yeah, it's called math.
So what?
You can't do your acceleration without math.
Okay.
For flat earthers who reject math, like you,
I don't reject
mathematics describes how things work in reality, like the rotation of the Earth at different latitudes compared to the equator.
Like the acceleration due to the nonlinear path you at the equator. You're talking about that one?
Hold on, please. Technical point. Lil, can you adjust the position of your microphone relative to the wind stream when you speak?
Is it popping too much, Curbed?
A lot of popping. You sound like Pakunich. Not overdriven like him, but the popping.
To the speaking or something like this.
You are the problem.
My distance to the speakers does not cause popping.
Yeah, but no one else picks it up apart from you. So why are you so sensitive? Is your hearing aid
maybe
too
I'm
loud?
the one. Maybe I'm the only one here with the courage and strength of my convictions to mention it.
Turn down the hearing aid. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just fine.
Maybe I am not afraid to be the voice of the people, to express their concerns.
No one's bothered. It's fine.
Everyone's bothered. They just get sick of saying anything about it because Pakunich is such a twat and refuses to do anything about it for more than 5 seconds at a time. He'll make a small temporary adjustment to act like he's compliant, and then he's right back fucking face deep in the fucking mic.
No, Jake's got a terrible mic. Whenever Jake speaks like right into the mic. When Veach has got a bad mic, he does the same thing. A lot of you ball earthers speak right into the mic, and it's just not a big deal. You're just making your point. I don't know why you just...
Chemo, that's a goddamn lie, and you know it.
Well, I'm just saying, Veach does it. Jake does it constantly when Jake's doing it.
When did Veach do it?
I come close to the mic, but I don't fucking stick it in my mouth and try eating the fucker like half of them do, you know?
Yeah,
nom, 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 nom.
Pokuntage does it on purpose, and because he refuses to give me a PO box so I can send him a sock for his fucking microphone too.
Can't he just get one of his
links for the fucking things up, and he doesn't even click on them? I mean, come on.
Can't he just get one of his lasses old dirty socks and stick that over it?
It's a sock. It'd work.
I know. Any sock will fucking do it. Just
I don't hear this popping people speak.
I don't know what Kerm's on about. He's just making trouble. That's all.
Sometimes people overpronounce their S's, and it sounds like a in the mic all the time. That's all.
With Pokuntage,
you can just get a sibilance suppressor.
He'll sit there and go like that, and like he knows he's doing it.
Popping guard.
Yeah, it's a windsock.
Yeah, windsock. That's it.
I mean, you can also get like a VST processor that'll remove plosives and sibilants from your mic in real time.
I think the mic in your ass will muffle the sound.
I mean, it's not hard to do. You can grab something like voice meter
look at
banana.
Zank's mic. Zank's mic is way too loud.
What about yours, Chemo?
We can even hear an echo because it's so loud.
I want a fucking loud mic that's like £2. It's like a tiny little thing that clips to your collar, but I just have it hanging off a pole so I can fucking get me gob near it when I need to.
Look, you're going to need good mics if you are going to
There, your echo should be gone.
You're going to need good mics if you're going to try and debunk the flat Earth. No?
Hey, Chemo.
Hey, Chris. Going down.
Tell me what you think of this audio clip of Kent Hovind.
Okay.
I have a fucking mic and a mic stand, but I need an amp for it. You know, it doesn't work very well without the amp.
You going to play it then, or what, Chris?
How is he going to play it for you? You click on the little play button there where Lyle posted it. See how it's got the play button? Click that.
Oh, yeah, but you can just either tell me or play it.
He just told you about it.
Well, what did he say?
He said, what do you think about this clip of Ken Hovind? What, am I the only one that heard that?
No, we didn't hear what he said.
I mean, it really goes to show how much attention you actually pay to what people are saying, Chemo.
You know, you made a noise like a baby goat earlier on. It was so funny.
What?
No, not a baby.
You're
a billy goat. A billy goat.
What billy goat trying to sound like an Arab? I know. I hear it all the time.
No, billy
they
goat.
Go. That's what they do.
So, Cypher, let's get into this. Why is your side failing to deliver any evidence, empirical, definitive
not
proof?
Failing to do anything.
Yeah, you haven't been able to show you on a ball and the Earth is not flat.
Well, sure we have. You just hand wave it all away.
Sure you have. Is that
refusing to sign for the package doesn't mean UPS didn't deliver it to you.
Yeah, you
yes.
Yeah, so failure is a part of the globe life cipher. Why haven't you been able to...
Chemo, I'm still waiting. I told you, Chemo, I would become a flat earther if you would show me the stuff that Saddam Hussein had sitting on his desk waiting to go.
Yeah.
That, or did they burn it all? Did you not get pictures of any of it? I mean, what's the deal with that?
That was explained to you. I told you we were talking about stories, making up fantasy. How many times should I tell you this?
Yeah.
So we were making up the wildest story we can do.
I think you're making a story up with that story, honestly.
Well, they were talking about space, globe, so we were like, this is story time, and let's just say the world leaders knew about the flat Earth and they were going to reveal it. So we're just making up stories. Now, what we're looking for is proof that we're actually on a ball, spinning, flying through space, curvature. Now, you say that's been presented.
I'm looking for proof of someone standing up against the dome on the ice wall. Once you get me a picture of someone leaning up against that thing, I'll be converted.
How can there be a dome?
One of the two.
How can there be a dome when you say it's a ball? The balls have domes?
Well, you're the one that makes the claim of the firmament or the dome or whatever.
That's all biblical. Let's stick with the facts.
We've got gravity holding the atmosphere to the ball.
Yeah, that's religion. That's
a pretty malformed question, Chemo.
Let's not talk about religion, curved and Cypher.
Let's talk about what you think of this audio clip.
What does it say?
Well, why don't you listen to it? It's only 19 seconds.
Just say what he said.
I want you to listen to it.
Play it, play it.
Actually leave out the moon.
Play it, let's do it as a collective.
No, I'm not going to do that because I don't want people to have a lot of echo.
Oh, well, wait till someone can play it then so we can listen
Why
to it.
don't you just play yourself, Chemo?
Because how we do things around here is like the ISS. We do these things together and then we come to a conclusion together.
On the ISS, so what do you mean together?
Well, I was able to figure out there is an ISS because we watched it together. It was a collective.
Listen to it. It's only 19 seconds, Chemo.
Alright.
Before we changing my name again.
What?
Why did you?
I want to put this out before we get too far away from what Kibo asked. How can there be a dome if it's a ball like you say it is?
Yeah.
Now, Kimo, you realize the problem with that question, but the answer would be because if it's flat with a dome, as you say it is, then you should be able to theoretically provide said picture. Your answer is not in any way any refutation of the globe.
No, we're going by what the Bible says. No one's seen the dome or the firmament. So the only way we know there is one is because of the Bible. Now you're saying the Bible's wrong, it's incorrect. We know that there's...
Well, I was about to say, if you can't find what it says in the Bible that you should be finding, don't you think then there might be something wrong with what it says in the Bible?
No.
Just throwing it out there.
That's faith. Faith, dude. Get it around your head. It's faith.
No, that's legit.
Alright, so do you have faith that the Earth is a ball or what?
That's legit. That's all, you know. If you don't, then the Bible's got to be wrong, right?
So if it's wrong, we've got to show...
I don't need faith in it because I've got pictures.
Yeah, but you've got to get out of...
Yeah, that's a good one.
You've got to get out of low Earth orbit to prove, you know, the Bible wrong or something like that. That hasn't been done.
No, you just need a satellite like the Himawari.
Go on then, let's see it leave the ground, go up
you can
gold or silver.
Like, I don't know how many times I don't do that anymore. I don't play your game.
I don't get it. I mean, we're here every day. You know what we're going to ask you. So tomorrow we're going to ask you again. Where is the evidence? So you should be able to
I haven't been here every day.
So well, one of yous will be. So what you should do is have that evidence ready to post and provide, like we do with Black Swan. Yeah? But you're not. You know it's such bad evidence. You're like,
but we do, and you just, like I said, hand wave it away and go, no, can't believe that. I wasn't there to do it. We went through this earlier, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So it's just like you've seen the Loch Ness Monster, right?
What they call it, a hand-waved maiden. Yeah.
You would hand wave the Loch Ness Monster. We went through this morning, yeah, and the reasons why.
If someone got me a video of an actual, the Loch Ness Monster, then I'd probably believe it. There's not a video where the thing rears up out of the water and sits there and talks to someone, or does Loch Ness monstery things. I'm not too sure what it does.
Not Rose. But you're saying a video of a Loch Ness.
Whistles. That's a little known fact. It whistles.
You would believe a video of Loch Ness?
Yeah, if there was one out there, but there's not. There's some videos of some really weird shit like swimming through water. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some of those, but yeah, I haven't seen the Loch Ness Monster. No, I don't think anyone has at this point.
Let me try and find your video of that.
Hey, is that windmill looks like it's swimming?
So look, let's get into what we're all about. We don't have evidence. We don't have evidence that we're on a ball, yeah? Me or you, collectively, both of us, yeah?
Well, speak for yourself.
What do you mean? You think you have evidence?
There's plenty of evidence. There's mountains of it, as a matter of fact. So,
like
I said, speak for yourself if you don't think there's any.
I've got proof.
I'm not going to include myself in that little group of yours.
I've got proof of a girl levitating video, yeah? I'll show you it now.
I know that video. What about it?
Yeah, I'm going to show it now. So here's evidence that people can levitate and float in sky.
That's demonic shit or alien shit.
So how do you explain that, Cypher?
Well, I've also seen video of a dude that manages to half push a chopstick through a table and actually breaks it and hurts someone.
Yeah, but look, she's flying, dude. She's flying.
He sets paper on fire. Like this guy waves his hand above a piece of paper and it sets on fire.
She's levitating.
Yeah, and
so people can levitate.
Shit out there.
It's not just one guy who could do that either, eh?
So you believe in levitation now,
You see the doctors out there where they wave their hands over people's like heads who have like cancer or some shit. They're waving their hands and then they like put their fingers together above the head and just all this smoke fucking starts evaporating away, and they do it again and then they grab the cancer or whatever and they fucking smoke it away, and some cool shit.
So Dav,
I believe all sorts of things are possible, Chemo. I'm not a closed-minded little twit like you that thinks the Earth is flat.
Yeah, I'm not limiting my.
You're saying that people can fly and levitate.
And like I said, we've got pictures of the globe, and we've got none of the ones that I asked for of someone standing up against the dome on top of the ice wall where it meets. So until you get me that, I'm gonna,
Well, we're just waiting for this little girl.
That kid is being held up by a wire.
We're just waiting for this little girl, Cypher, to go a little bit higher, and then she will reach the dome. You to wait for that? When she grows up, she'll be able to fly higher. Right now, she can fly so high.
Wait, what are you doing?
No,
this chick, yeah, sure. So if the white,
She's only a young superhero, so she can't go all the way up yet, right? She's learning her powers. Understand?
Chemo. That's very that is either post compositing.
No. This is a little girl attempting to use her superpowers at such a young age. Now, obviously, if she went too high, her father would have went up there and obviously caught her or something.
Yeah, but this looks very similar to how magicians would do similar levitations, including the rotation point.
Similar to what NASA provides, you mean? Those magicians. With their wires on strings in a...
because even magicians can't replicate the look of zero gravity on Earth.
Well, yeah, she's flying
They
now.
can look
She's
like
not
levitating, not zero gravity. Those things look different.
She's not being pulled down by gravity. This debunks gravity.
No.
Yes. Not just hand wave dismiss it. We've got video evidence of it.
Not really. She could have a force.
No, but I know how magicians
She
would
could.
pull
She
this
could.
off,
Can you prove
and
that?
The environment they're in would make it incredibly easy to do.
We're told video
Right.
evidence is admissible. Now, can you prove that this is fake? Prove it right now.
Who said video evidence is inadmissible?
Prove it right now. This is fake. Like you told us to prove that the IS.
No. I want to know who said that video evidence isn't admissible. That's your claim.
No, you can use video evidence, right?
You just said you couldn't, apparently.
You can. You can use video evidence.
Okay.
What about audio evidence?
I've got video evidence of a girl flying. So now we believe that people can fly, yeah?
What about audio evidence, Chemo? Can we trust audio evidence?
Wow, we don't know who's saying it, do we?
Well, I'm pretty sure Kent Hovind, a young Earth creationist, believes the moon rotates around the Earth or orbits the Earth and is moving away from the Earth, and that flat earthers are wrong on what they believe. If you don't believe me, you can listen to this audio clip.
Chemo, would you watch the Ken Hovind video there? I have some cutscene. No, I sound like you. I just sounded like you. You wouldn't know now if that was me or you or who or whoever, yeah? I just spoke like you, and we wouldn't know if what I just said was you or not. Hey, Chemo, can you take a look at that Ken Hovind video there and tell me if you believe what he's saying?
Video, I said audio clip.
Oh, the audio clip there? I didn't say video clip. I said audio clip.
You know how you can know that it's Kent Hovind? Because you can listen to the thousands of debates he's been in and look at his face while his mouth moving and know that it's him.
But how do you know who? Like now, who? How do they know who's Leo now? Me or you? We was both just talking about the video.
I can't tell the difference.
You can.
That's pretty good.
I
You're better than
can't
Rich
tell
Little.
the difference.
Chris, how are you gonna know who's who? Who's the real Chris? With the real Chris, please stand up.
Everyone knows.
Well, everyone knows it's me. I'm the real Chris.
Chemo, you sunk to such low depths, Chemo.
But I'm saying, with the video here, how's he going to know who is who?
Just listen to it.
Yeah,
Why are you afraid to listen to 24 seconds of
I've just said, just tell me what he says.
Randy had this problem in text chat where, due to Socks being there, he didn't know if he was talking to himself or not.
And by the way, Chemo, if you're curious as to how you can tell what's going on in your levitating kid video, all right, when you look at that kid at the end, when they zoom in and they like rear up a little bit, right? You look at what they're rotating around, and they're not rotating around their own center of mass. They're rotating like around the outside edge of their body, which would indicate that it was filmed on a wire. Right?
No.
The astronauts, when they're rotating,
have you seen
rotation comes from center of
No,
mass.
you don't know what you're talking. Have you seen a child try to drive a car?
Here we go. I found it. The classic viral video of a Russian girl flying is fake. So I'm going to pull this link up now. Give me a sec.
Yeah. Show how they did it. Don't just bring me paper. Let's see how they did it.
Funnily enough, it's the same one. Here's the link. I'll get it.
Yeah, don't just bring me paper. Show the wires. Like you tell us, show us the wires. Where are the wires? Let's see them.
Where's the wire?
Well, they're doing that. They're doing
Probably
that
right around her lower back.
They're doing that.
I don't see a wire.
They're doing that with the center of mass observation, where we can see.
Yes, your opinion. Thank you for your opinion. Where is the wire?
Exactly. You're acting like you know the rules for when humans can have the ability to levitate.
You're gonna love it,
How do you know
it's
the rules?
video.
How do you know the rules for the power of humans' ability to flight? How they would fly?
Wait a second. To answer Chemo's question, I'm pretty sure Chris has the wire uploaded to a Google Drive or something like that. Are you looking to download it, Chemo?
Do you have the relevant information there, Chris? Chris is gone, I think. Oh no, I don't have a. I didn't download it curved, but I'll probably try it later on.
There's your video, Kmo. It's 5 minutes long. It might be a little long for you to keep your attention on, but there you go.
Just timestamp me the wire. That's what I need to see. I don't want someone's explanation of the miracles and the miraculous world we live in. I just want to see the wire.
What about Dynamo, Chris Angel, David Blaine?
Yeah.
Chemo, you're the man, bro. You're the man, Chemo.
Right, they're just going to tell us, oh, they did this, they did that. That's what we do about the ISS. They did this, they did that. They say, well, where's the wire? Where's the wire? We're like, but, they did this, and this is what they do. They move like this. See?
Chemo, what do you think about Dynamo?
I've done the wire thing with him for days.
Dynamo.
And days. I know. I like.
Go on, Jeremy.
No, I was gonna say I like what you're doing with this because I've went over the wire thing with them for days and days on end before, and there always comes down and show me the wire.
Right.
Where's the wire?
Exactly. So your best explanation won't do unless you can show the wire. See? So now Cypher should be believing in levitation because he said a video will suffice. Cat got your tongue, Cypher. Would mine too if I made such ridiculous, wild claims.
Chemo, what do you think about Dynamo?
Oh yes, Dynamo, yeah. So he obviously he wanted to become famous or something, he said. So he supposedly went to a forest, did some kind of ritual, came back like a top magician or something like this.
Oh fuck, you even know the whole story too, eh? He went out to the bush for 3 days.
That's
and
it,
then
the
he came
bush,
back
the woods, that's the one, yeah. And got some demonic powers and stuff, so yeah. Looked into all that.
You see their reactions sometimes, that one family with the mom and 2 kids when he walks through the gate fence. He walks through and everyone's like, oh wow, that's amazing, whatever, walk away, and that one mom and 2 kids are standing there like, that ain't right.
I think it is a mixture of just like normal magic and demonic magic.
Or he levitates, or he stands on water, or he holds a bus, or he's levitating above the building, or he burns his hand into glass, or he unties a shoe that's under the glass, or he engraves a face or his hand into the concrete stone at the Vatican. All this other crazy ass shit. Puts his arm through the fucking glass to grab all jewelry and shit. Dynamo's one different guy.
You know, a lot of the ballers, for them to believe that was real, they would have to be there. They would not.
You wanted a timestamp, Chemo?
Yeah, except that I've worked in magic, and I know how most of those things are done.
No,
or at
you
least
cannot replicate Dynamo's magic. That means silly.
So do you want me to explain the explanation to you, Chemo, or do you want to go to 1 minute 35 in that video? Well, okay, in 1 minute 35, he says they actually figure out that they've overlaid it, and you can tell that the frame rate changes. You look at the timestamp and you look at the frame rates, and it's different.
Yeah.
So yes,
where's the wire?
It's fake.
Where's the wire? Oh yeah, no wire.
It's
just a lot of
this one was manipulated.
If buts and maybes.
You and Flatzoid know all about manipulating frames and taking stuff out and playing it reverse. So
a lot of if buts and maybes, Cypher. It's okay. But yeah, Zan, you cannot repeat. For example, pulling a scarf through a phone, right? A physical phone, and then pulling. Or did he have it in the phone? Was the scarf? No, I think he pulled it through.
That one can't be copied. That one ain't nothing. I'm talking about the real ones with the concrete, the glass, the levitating above the building, could have been wires, whatever, holding on to the side of the bus.
You're making a couple of assumptions.
Zan, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time with explaining. There's no point explaining.
And you're assuming that he's working with normal objects and not stooges.
Yeah, again, there's no point trying to explain.
That's likely untrue.
Zan, there's no point explaining it. Explaining it means nothing, because we all have an opinion on what we think they did and how we think they did it. You've got to be able to demonstrate. Look at me. This is what he did. How he did it. He did. None of that, Zant.
Yeah,
okay?
some of these things would be easy to explain, a little bit more difficult to demonstrate because
you're not a magician.
That specially tooled stuff that would be quite expensive.
No, because you're not. You don't have demonic powers. That's why you can't replicate.
No, it has nothing to do with demonic powers.
No.
Same as there are quite a few things that Chris Angel has done that I could replicate, or David Blaine.
No, we're not talking about Chris Angel. We're talking about what's his name?
You're talking about
Dynamo here. And
yeah, I understand who you're talking about.
So can you repeat Dynamo's demonic magic? Not explain it, repeat it.
No. Wait, Chemo, I have a
exactly.
First, a statement. So Zant, I've watched a lot of Fool Us with Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
And basically on every show they talk about how the props on stage and everything around the magician is part of the act.
Yeah, even if it's normal.
Correct in stating the video of the flying, levitating person. All the things around them are part of the set, the act.
For the Russian girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing that I'm not sure about, because you would get the same rotation either way, is if they're using a vertical above the back suspension, like on a hoist or on something that's tied to one of the taller trees, which is possible, and then editing it out of the footage. Or the other option is use a broom suspension setup. Like there's a specific levitation that magicians use called a broom suspension, which is an old classic magic thing that stage magicians do.
Yeah.
Using a harness that you wear under the clothes, and the movement on this looks very similar to that as well. So it could be one of those two.
Sounds like the
it's hard to say because you've got quite shaky footage, right? You don't have a clear view of the descent either. So if there was a clearer view of her landing, then it would be much more clear.
Right. I'm incorrect in making a comparison between what Penn and Teller and even the magician on stage will tell you that they use even the stage itself as part of their prop to trick people into thinking they're doing something they're not.
Exactly. So let's get back to the main point. What
about the time they walked through the fucking Great Wall of China there?
No, the main point of this Gypsy was to show to Cypher here that just because we see it on video doesn't mean that it's verified. Okay? So, of course, nobody can levitate.
Especially, look, if you're
Can I finish, Zan? Hold on, Zan, can I finish a second? So, of course, no one can levitate. That's nonsense. Just like space flying around on the ISS. That's all nonsense. Just like the pictures, that's all nonsense, Cypher. So you're supposed to look in the same way at this video and what NASA produced. Now, just because they did it on a bigger scale doesn't mean it's not the same effect, trying to deceive us. Okay? So that's not how you validate things, sci-fi. You have to reevaluate and provide.
Well, I mean, you could always run it through a forensic program as well to see if there's been any fuckery. So yeah, there's that.
No. Remember, we started out, is there any evidence for a globe? You were like, video, pictures.
Oh, no, I actually said mountains of it.
Mountains of pictures?
All sorts of stuff, not just videos and pictures. There's all sorts of shit.
Go on, then, what else do you have?
We've got the surveying. I'm playing a game.
You know what I mean?
You know what
Let's have some
is.
fun. Let's pretend that you're on a ball. What do you think they would have for proof?
Well, they've got scientific papers, they've got geodetic surveying, they've got microwave communications that if Earth were flat would continue, like we wouldn't have as much problem with microwave communications as we do because, you know, the Earth is curved and you can't get a microwave through a solid object without frying it. So there's that. Other things, you know, bits and pieces. Mr. Sensible's Mage project that he did that didn't hit a dome. You know, etc. No picture of someone leaning up against the dome on the top of the ice wall where it connects the whole thing and holds the waters in holds the waters into the earth and then the waters above from getting in or something like that, as far as I know. What else? Oh, the way the sun moves here in Australia, that's pretty fucked up. It doesn't move the way it's supposed to if Earth were flat.
Yeah, but you still haven't given reasons or evidence for a globe, right?
Well, I've just given you a whole list of them.
So
So,
you're
yes,
saying that
I
I
did.
think somebody somewhere has done something. That's why I think we're on a globe, but I'm not too sure.
People have flung rockets into space.
Okay, so
Same
how do you have
argument
then
you're
sci-fi?
flat, now you're just going off.
Sci-fi, how do you have the vacuum without the container?
Wait, against you, Chemo.
The vacuum what?
Think someone did something with the laser, therefore the Earth is flat.
No, he said space. He's saying rockets going to space, so I'm asking him, how do we have a vacuum without the container?
What? How do you have an absence of things? That's what a vacuum is. A vacuum just means there's nothing in that space. Like,
how is that possible?
Next to nothing, because there's no such thing as a perfect vacuum.
How is that
but,
possible?
The stuff. Well, what's in between you and your wall, Chemo? Like,
so
the
even if
sides,
it's listen to this, even if it's perfect or not perfect, how is it possible without the container? Either or.
What do you mean?
So if
the vacuum of space, Chemo, is not a vacuum cleaner.
No. If there's low pressure, where does the pressure come from?
The gravity that holds the atmosphere to Earth.
Gravity's not a force.
It's part of it.
Gravity's not a force. You know this.
You can think of it as a force.
You can, but it's not a force. So
You can.
Of course you can, but let's work with the really level.
Do.
I know you must, but that is still
an
option.
Not that we must. We do, because that's just the best explanation.
Yeah, fine, but we're not looking for the best. We're looking for the answer.
Why not? Why wouldn't you be looking for the best explanation for something? Wouldn't it be the best explanation for something?
No, I don't want someone's best guess.
Oh, so the best explanation for something is now not the best explanation for something. You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, who is smart enough? Who's smart enough to give their best guess and get the answer right? Tell me.
Lots of people. It's
who?
A combined effort.
Like
Lots
who?
of people all around the world. Millions of people around the world have done it. I could be one of them, yes. You could have been one of them if you weren't such a
Who
monk.
has figured out that they're on a ball?
Well, they did it fucking thousands of years ago before we could fling rockets into space. We just, got our first look at it in 1946.
No, so let's get back to today.
Yes.
Today, you don't know what happened back then. Jesus walked on water thousands of years ago. Do you believe that? No. So let's talk about what we can do today.
No.
All right? So, do we have any evidence today?
Today we can fling rockets into space and put satellites into orbit that take pictures of the Earth every 10 minutes.
Yes,
Congratulations.
I hear what
Welcome
you're
back to the
saying,
globe.
but I'm asking, how is that possible without the container?
Do you? How is it possible without a container to have nothing? Just nothing?
Yeah, to have...
what contains the universe?
No, you're saying that you've got a space. That's your claim.
And the vacuum of space is just space has just got nothing in it.
So how do you have this vacuum without the container?
Without a container.
Yeah.
Vacuum of space is not a vacuum cleaner.
I didn't say that, did I? I asked you for a container.
I think you're having trouble getting past that.
No one talked about sucking or blowing. I'm asking you pressure. If there is a vacuum.
Well, I think I think you've got a very fundamental misunderstanding on the word vacuum and what it means in regards to space. That's I think we're going to get hung up here for a little bit.
I want to make a comparison here, Cypher. Cypher just asked you about the universe.
Yeah.
And then you off your diatribe about space. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Genesis 1, chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah.
Where are the heavens at? They're obviously not here on Earth. And if space doesn't exist, where do they exist at? Where does the heavens exist at?
Heaven? That's above you.
No, it says the heavens and the earth. It's plural.
Yeah.
The word is plural, not singular, plural.
So different states. This is state, the other state above us, and another state above that.
Are the heavens outside the dome?
Yes.
So there is space outside the dome, because the heavens have to take up area, right?
It's not space, it's a medium.
Wait. Is heaven like the island on top of the waters that Earth is enclosed in underneath the dome? Is that what's going on?
Think Jack and the Beanstalk. But look, the idea is that there's a medium above us with another medium above that, and we don't know what it is, we can't enter it. Not right now, anyway. But you're saying you can enter it, so we're looking for the evidence.
No. Don't go saying that, because we have, and we will continue to do so. So, yeah, that's wrong.
No. You're saying you can go into the medium above this. No. There is a medium above us, and you say you can enter into that medium with no evidence.
Well, there's not. I'll put it this way: there's not as much of the stuff down here as there is up there. There's other planets and stuff up there that have, stuff clinging to their surfaces. But in space, there's very, very little stuff. Like, not much of it. There's a lot of space in between the stuff in space.
Yeah, you're just making things up now. How do you have a vacuum without a container? Don't know, do you?
It's a pretty well established fact. It's an established fact.
No, but you don't know the answer.
I'm not even sure what question you're asking at this point.
How do you have gas pressure? No, not that one. The vacuum one. How do you have a vacuum without a container?
Well, like I said, you think that the vacuum of space should be sucking the atmosphere of Earth out into it.
No one said that.
That's what you're getting at. That's like whether you want to dance around it as much as you want to possibly can. That's what you're trying to claim. How do you have a gas next to a vacuum that should be sucking is what you're getting at.
Here come the straw man without any warning.
That's the whole idiotic point with the whole vacuum next to a gas.
Similar to Karen, always reporting.
You guys think, although you try to dance around it, you think that a vacuum should be sucking things into it.
You're endorsing the fraud and effects without cause. You seem to be manifesting force from a pseudo source.
What's the second law of thermodynamics, Chemo? Can you explain it to me?
It's got a lot to do with entropy. It's got a lot to do with...
What does it state?
So it's got a lot to do with order and disorder. And basically, if you want to get a layman's...
What does it state? I want to hear the third law, the second law verbatim from you. And if you can't do it, then
why do you need
go and Google it and then read it out to me.
Why do you need
entropy in the court?
Why do you need that, though? You're
because I want to know your understanding of it.
You're shotgunning now. You're all over the place. We were talking about...
I want to know if you understand the second law of thermodynamics. I want to know if you understand thermodynamics in general, actually, which I don't think you do.
Well, you're all over the place now because we were talking about gravity.
No. Isn't this what Nathan Oakley says? It's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics having gas pressure next to a vacuum?
Nathan says a lot of things. But what I'm saying to you...
Is that not the general flat Earth consensus?
Does it sound like I'm saying things that Nathan is saying to you?
Is it the general flat Earth consensus?
I'm asking you for
the vacuum of space next to gas is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics.
I'm ready to accept your uncut footage. Let's take a look. That's what I'm asking for.
Okay, Mo.
You see, I haven't given you a set of questions. All I've said.
Give me a laugh, and I actually I could have used the laugh. Thank you. I've missed this.
Well, like I said, we're going to try and transition peacefully because you can't prove any of your claims, and that's what you need to accept. Okay?
I don't need to prove anything to you.
You're going to either laugh or you're either going to cry.
Oh, I'll definitely laugh. Don't worry. I have been.
Choose to laugh, yeah. That's the best choice.
Yeah, because some of the shit you say is hilarious.
Well,
it's dumb and wrong, but it's, funny.
What you're saying is pretty sad because you've allowed yourself to be completely indoctrinated without any way of verifying what you've been told.
How do you know that?
Because after having a conversation with you, we get to know one another. I know who you are now, what you're about, what you're capable of, and all you're capable of is just saying, well, I can only tell you what I've been told.
No, I've actually done things that have to do with the shape of the Earth. So, when you point one dish at another and try to get a signal between them in certain applications, then you have to be pretty precise and you can't have stuff in the way. And sometimes you can't point one at the other because it just doesn't go through, solid dirt, which we've got because it's curved.
Well, I mean, again, that's all presupposition. You're basing all of this based
not
on
presupposition. No. We actually made systems work based on the shape of the Earth. Telecommunications devices.
Oh, this will work on a flat. This works on a flat Earth just fine.
No, it really doesn't.
Everything
it
works,
doesn't.
Everything that is working right now, everything, planes, radar, lasers, everything.
Well, I brought up I did bring up microwave communications earlier. So explain to me why the microwave communications, if Earth is flat, why do they seem to stop at certain points, and then you have to, get another dish or redirect the signal that you, originally beaming out from? Explain that to me, genius.
That's not true.
It is absolutely true.
No. Marconi was able to fire his radars from the UK all the way to America. And obviously there was no more land beyond America other than Hawaii.
Was Marconi using a microwave or a radio signal?
So
I think you'll find it was the radio signal.
I don't think you could get anywhere near radar frequencies.
If there was more land beyond America or Hawaii, then the signal would have reached further.
Actually, that's a good point, Moya. Have you ever been a radar operator, Chemo?
Not about me.
Well, I mean, what do you know about radar operations then?
I know that we can get very, very long signals and ranges.
Okay, so, but why do they drop off? Why can't you have like a radar detection device that extends everywhere? Like when the plane disappears off the edge of the screen, why can't we track it beyond the edge of the screen? Is I guess what I'm getting at.
Hills and valleys.
I think
and
the
mountains.
answer is innovation.
Got mountains in the
And
way.
what hills and valleys and mountains are out in the middle of the ocean, Chemo?
Oh no, I just told you they go from England to America, no problem.
Yeah, England to America. There's a huge ocean called the Atlantic Ocean.
The Atlantic, yep.
Let's see, Chemo. Can you show me an example of them using a 3 gigahertz signal to go?
No. Does any of the flat earthers want to
step in? Could you use a 3 gigahertz signal to go from America?
Feel free. Where's Jeremy? Oh, Jeremy's not here.
He's on the ropes.
Jeremy's not here.
Marconi was relegated to relatively low frequencies.
No, that was just the beginning.
Yeah.
That was just the beginning. Imagine what they can do now.
That's why I specifically said, why is it we have trouble getting microwave transmissions to go across the flat plane? Because they seem to get cut off at points.
How do you know that? Let's have a look. Show me.
Because we can't get the transmission from one dish to where we want to get it to.
Yeah, you said
so
that.
We have to
said that twice now.
That and maybe bounce that signal off another dish to get it to go around the curve.
All right, let's have a look at it and then we can verify it then.
Go and look it up. Go and find a video on YouTube that explains it. I'm not doing it for you.
Basically, do one.
I have 25 watts. I think my radar on my boat's 25 watts, and then you have like the Wavy TV10 weather radar, which is like a couple hundred watts, and that one doesn't seem to go any further than mine.
Nope, despite being more powerful.
Hey, Cypher, correct me if I'm wrong, But I think the word you're looking for is attenuation of the signal.
Yep, okay. that's the word. Okay. How do you attenuate the signal from one point to the other? Exactly, Lyle. Yes.
Okay, so look, we can't.
Just like with an Ethernet cable, you can only go a certain distance before the signal will start dropping off your connection.
Look, if we just believed, think about this. If we just accepted what you said, Cypher, we would be in the same position as you guys now. Just believe in whatever you're told. That's why we're asking you.
No, like I said, I've actually dealt with this stuff, so I know what I'm talking about. That's why you're on the back foot going, oh, fuck, what have I done again? And this always happens. And like I said, I missed this. But yes.
I'm on the back foot. Why? I haven't made any claims. What are you talking about?
Well, you need to explain to me why microwave transmissions drop off at a certain point. And if Earth is flat, we should be able to beam microwave transmissions all the way across it and not have to use repeater stations and dishes. Look, why do we have to do that, Hemo?
On the flat Earth, we don't work...
I've worked with this stuff.
On the flat Earth, we don't work with if this, then that.
No, you use the telecommunications that the rest of the people that don't believe in flat Earth have set up for you and act like an idiot. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I don't care what shape the Earth is. It's a fact that if you tried to use an Ethernet cable 1,000 feet from your router, that the amount of signal you would receive would be very low unless you had repeaters in between every like 300 feet or so. Isn't that about right, Cypher? 300 feet?
You need for a microwave. Well, you need to redirect the signal with a microwave. So, like I said, you get it to you boost it out from one spot where you're transmitting from, and then it gets to the next dish and goes around, and it starts to follow the curve because it's got the repeater dishes.
I was specifically running an Ethernet
satellites. Satellites is actually how they do it more nowadays.
I was talking about specifically running an Ethernet cable 1,000 feet from your router.
Yeah, and that's why, when the internet first started being used on copper wires, the further you were from the exchange, you're right, the less of a good signal you'd be able to get. You'd take 25 days to download a movie or something.
I've always wondered why they didn't develop Ethernet wire to have repeaters inside the wire.
Well, that's when fiber came around, because it was light and it basically was transmitting that much faster than the copper could deal with. And that's why here in Australia we had this thing where they were going to set up our new network with nothing but fiber to everyone's house. They went and backtracked on it and put it so that you have to connect to a node that's out the front with old copper wiring from your house to that point. But you can you can get an extra fucking upgrade. Costs you about $5,000 to do it at the moment, though, to get fiber all the way into the house. But it transmits the information a lot quicker.
Look, we've had enough. We've had stories all of our lives, right? Ever since we were 5 years old, we were given stories.
Yeah, and my family has dealt with telecommunications added up probably over 60 or 70 years in my family, maybe more. With all the people in my family's experience with telecoms, equal, a fair few fucking decades, Chemo.
Make a movie out of this story. Make it reality so we can see what you're talking about.
Hey, Cypher. Given you had enough money, you could petition your IFP to give you a 12-lane highway instead of a 2-lane highway, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, where I'm in, it's easier for people to get it where there's already been a trunk and a fiber line laid out. Oh, yeah, my place was one of the newer ones. Yeah. You have enough money. They are going to have to do it eventually because it's not working. It's bottlenecking from it's just not a good system.
You're all over the place, Cypher. This is not evidence of a globe.
No. Yeah, it is. Telecommunications. And like you said before, the proof of it being a globe is the telecoms you're using to talk to me on the other side of the world right now. All at once, we're using the same technology that my family has been involved with for decades.
Just using a wire, dude.
You're welcome for that sort of stuff.
It's just a wire from me to you.
It's not just that. No, it's a little bit more complicated. That's why I don't buy any of the bullshit that you spurt out, because I know better.
Look, we can show you the cables, the underground cables running.
I use terminology that Cypher would understand that you don't understand, but I understand it, and I knew Cypher would understand it. Do you understand what I mean when I say he could buy an internet connection that has 12 lanes instead of 2? Do you understand what I'm actually saying?
I've got a question for you, Kimo. Can you show me the cable running from New York to England?
Oh, you want to see the underground cables? Okay.
I want to see them putting it in a 24-hour video of them dropping the cable in.
I don't have that.
Why not? How do you know it exists then?
Are you denying it exists?
Sure. We don't know.
Going back to my question, Kimo.
You don't believe that, Moyak?
Why would I? Have I seen it done? No, I didn't see a video. Nothing without video exists.
Okay, your map.
And, hey, Kimo.
Yeah.
I would take a bet that Moyak knows exactly and understands what I'm saying, too. Do you understand what I'm saying when I tell Cypher if he could afford it, he could buy a 12-lane highway instead of a 2-lane?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
What does it mean? When I'm talking about the internet, what does that mean?
So you could get 12 lanes instead of 4?
Yeah, it's 2-lane highway.
That's exactly what he said. Now, what does it mean?
It means you get... Look, anyway, here are the wires, Moyak. All the internets are connected. I don't know if it's...
like lines on a diagram.
What?
Hey, Moyak, stand back towards my question, please.
Look, this is how they're all connected, Moyak. All the internet cables all over the place. Like this.
Just a picture.
No, that's a diagram showing you where the connections are.
Well, that exists. I got diagrams of lots of things.
Yeah?
You would deny the diagram. Why would you post a diagram as evidence?
Oh, I can show you some maintenance where they got to fix them and stuff.
So you can see them pulling something out of the water and working on it. How do you know that goes to England?
Kimo, are you going to answer my question?
No, I don't have an entire video of them going from...
No, I showed you...
Please answer my question instead of deflecting away.
I showed you Cavendish in a vacuum. Had diagrams, pictures, and all that stuff. You won't accept it because I don't have video. We're not accepting this shit unless you got video.
Science. No. That's not science. Different.
It has to be uncut.
It's not science.
Got to be uncut. Absolutely.
Can you go down 12 miles?
You're being silly. You know that you laid the cables down. You're just being childish. You're being childish. Because you know there are cables under the water.
Wait. Can you go down? Have you verified? Can you go down 12 miles?
No, you're being silly. Here's the video to it. You're just being silly.
I've never seen a cable under the water.
Submarine cable map. There you
I've
go.
been building my whole life, and I've never seen one of these subterranean cables.
Why would they lie? Why would they lie about this, Moyak?
You think everybody else lies?
First thing, I want to know why would they lie. I can tell you why they lie about the globe. Why would they lie about these wires?
To hide God.
Pardon?
Hide God.
Under the water? Exactly. It makes no sense, Moyak. You can't even make a good story up. And you're the story maker.
What, to hide God?
So, if it's a lie, why would they lie? You don't know why they would lie.
You're the expert. You tell us.
What, for hiding
Hide
cables?
the fact that all this is done with radio communications and there are no cables.
So anyway, we can put your satellite to bed now, Sci-Fi. Can we get the next piece of evidence? We've debunked you.
Yes, you can answer my question now about what does it mean when I say 12-lane highway instead of a 2-lane highway. What does that mean, Kimo?
What, a 12-lane?
Yeah, as it relates to his internet. What does that mean? A 12-lane highway instead of a 2-lane. What does that actually mean?
Did you say 12-lane 7-2?
Yes. What does a 12-lane highway mean as opposed to a 2-lane highway when we're talking about the internet?
So you have 12 lanes instead of 2. For traffic.
Yeah.
For traffic. For traffic.
Where do they put those lanes?
For traffic, right?
I mean, they build a physical
No.
road.
It's just talking about the traffic. How much traffic, how much speed and stuff, right? You can run it through 2 lanes, or you can run it through 12 lanes, alright?
It has nothing to do with speed.
Yeah. So if you want to run it through 2...
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So the 12 lanes, you're obviously going to get more, right?
No, wrong.
So, wait. Let me
Try it.
something.
Look it up. Quick, Google it real quick. We'll give you 12 seconds.
I've just told you the answer.
A 12-lane highway that has 50 megabits per second,
yeah,
or a 2-lane highway that has 50 megabits per second. What is the difference in a 12-lane and a 2-lane?
So it's to do with the open source, Chris. You know what that is?
Oh my god.
Yes, exactly. It's open source. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually open source.
Yeah.
You understand, Chris? Yeah. So that's why.
It has nothing to do with open source, but ironically enough, it is open source.
Yes, that's what I was just telling you.
Because if it was open source, he wouldn't.
He googled it. Yeah, he googled it real quick. And
I didn't Google anything.
Went, oh, I'll go with that.
Didn't Google a thing.
Well, why did you take the first result then?
What for? Is that the first result?
Chemo.
I answered him straight away. So, what's the point of your question, Chris?
This is classic.
What's the point of your question? That I know everything I need to know about cabling? What?
I'm just showing you that Cypher knows more about it than you guys said.
It was a quiz, a competition.
Cypher,
yeah, and you failed miserably.
Cypher, quick question about the Ethernet 300-foot limit. That's a timing limit, isn't it? It's how long they allow for communications to take place.
It doesn't matter so much nowadays, like I said, with the fiber, but if you're still running a copper cable and there's not going to be like the Ethernet cable from your computer to your router. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get any longer than 100-foot one of those nowadays anyway. And it's still like cables is always going to be faster than a wire, regardless of.
Right, can we get back to my point now, Cypher? You derailed it long enough. Space. You said rockets going to space.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
How do you have a vacuum without a container?
Same way you have low pressure.
I have a vacuum in my house that has a container.
Yeah, without the container.
Yeah, the problem with the
outer space, the universe, that's the container.
The problem with the 300, what?
Oh,
no, Jay.
The universe, Chemo. Our container is the universe. Ironically enough, the Earth is inside the universe.
Look, we have to go with what we know scientifically. So we know in order to create a vacuum, we need the container. Now, how is space?
No, you're talking about a vacuum cleaner again. Not the vacuum of space. Let's continue to make that clear.
No, you know when they put the astronaut in that room and they remove the air, testing the astronaut suit. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
A vacuum like that, right? How do they have a vacuum like that without the container?
Well, we don't know what contains. Like I said before, what contains the universe, Chemo? We don't know that.
So you know, like the astronauts are testing their suits, yeah?
Yeah, they're sucking the air out of a room. What's your point?
So why are they testing it in a room with walls?
So that people don't die in the vacuum of space.
Why are they testing it with walls?
So that people don't die because they're on Earth, and on Earth we have an atmospheric pressure.
So why are they using the wall?
You could test it on the Red Bull balloon.
You know, Cypher, it's ironic. The Ethernet thing in the 12 lanes can also explain what we're trying to describe to Chemo if you consider the Earth is one lane.
Come on, Cypher, just say we can't, it's not possible.
There's more room in the universe for particles to move around than there is in the Earth.
Okay, there's particles moving around in the vacuum, yeah?
That's a really good comparison, Chris. I do like that, yes.
So are you saying there's particles moving around in a vacuum?
Yes.
Yes,
in
The
space.
vacuum is the amount of particles that are moving
But are the particles moving around in a vacuum?
Yeah, there's a lot less of them.
They just have a lot more. They have a lot more things to move around in.
Okay.
Space still has pressure. It's 10 to the negative 17. It's still a positive pressure.
Right. Finally, where does this pressure come from?
From the particles moving around in the different lanes.
Where did they get their acceleration from?
Well, that depends on where they came from.
Now I've got this. I've got this now. Scrunch.
There's lots of shit happening in the universe that could give something momentum.
So, where did the acceleration come from for these particles to be moving around a vacuum?
Energy.
Where did the energy come from in space?
You know, the fact that they have a temperature.
And that's not how it works, Moyak, but carry on. Where does the energy come from?
The Big Bang, lots of different sources of energy.
Oh my god, enough of your stories. Cypher, where does the acceleration come from?
Well, it'd happen from the first stuff would start rubbing against each other. Little tiny, let's imagine space and the minuscule particles in it. They'll eventually rub against each other one way or the other, right?
Cypher.
So they're going to give themselves a little bit of momentum from something like that. Cypher. They could have gotten some from, yes?
In order for you to rub against something, you have to come from somewhere and accelerate towards the other thing you're rubbing against. So how did that start? How did that happen?
The Big Bang, I guess. Where most of the momentum started coming from, I guess. That's the theory.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the universe is constantly moving outwards, expanding.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the best explanation we've got for it at the moment.
Go,
what do you got?
Saying what to say.
He's not even all over the space. He's all over time.
What have you got for it? What explanation do you have?
You're blowing my mind, Cypher, here.
Well,
I don't know how the flowers stay calm.
I've given you our explanation for it. What's yours?
No, I've asked
if you don't understand the Big Bang, that's not my problem. So what's your explanation to replace our theory of the Big Bang?
Listen up. That's not how I asked you. The space above us right now, you're saying there are particles moving around, yeah?
Yes.
So, what causes them to move around?
Energy?
Heat.
Yeah, there's heat in all of it. Anything above absolute zero has heat in it. That heat is energy. It's the amount of movement that's in there.
The particles.
As long as something's above absolute zero, it's gonna have energy in it.
As I said before, energy from the Big Bangs, energy from stars.
Oh
gravity,
my gosh.
Things have effects on it, and then other particles colliding with other particles.
And I think another problem you've got with the Big Bang, Chemo, is that you think that everything came from nothing. That's not the case.
I hope the audience listens to this.
Everything in the universe was there to start with. It just wasn't in the shape that we know it now. I think the theory goes, and I'm not an expert on the Big Bang or anything like that, but as far as I know, all the gravity, it all.
I can tell you all about it. I was there. That's how I met Percent's mom.
Oh, so was Blue. Yeah, Blue was there as well.
Yeah, I met Percent's mom at the Big Bang. I was there.
White was watching the whole thing.
You wish. My mom has class. She has standards.
It was a classy orgy, dude.
But look where we are now. Look where we are now. Because I asked a very simple question. We are in a Big Bang now, a big explosion, because Cypher's struggling to explain.
Well, no, you asked for an explanation as to how the energy got imparted into those particles. I gave you that, and then I asked for your, counter explanation. So go ahead. I'm still waiting for that.
So it's not a vacuum then, is it?
Not a perfect vacuum, no. But there's very little things. There's less things in space than there are here on the surface of the planet. That's just how it is.
So you're saying the region that's just above the Kármán line, all that activity up there, is from the Big Bang?
What?
The activity, the molecules, particles, everything moving around above the Kármán line, or maybe 100 miles above that, and maybe 100 miles above that, and maybe 100 miles above.
That's the very original point of all the motion in the universe. Yes, the very start of it came from the Big. Everything started moving when the Big Bang happened. Yes, everything since then, it may have, things may have gotten into other orbits and changed the movement of other things in the galaxies and whatnot that are out there. But everything started moving when the Big Bang happened. Yes.
Yeah, but a lot of those particles get the particles above the Earth. A lot of it gets energy from the sun, just like everything else.
Imagine
that too,
I had a black powder firework and I exploded. It makes a cloud of gas, and so the explosion made the cloud of gas, and then those particles become involved with each other and bump into each other, and other particles and other energies, winds and stuff come and move those particles all around.
So, Cypher, which way did the Big Bang? Because you obviously now know where the direction of these particles.
Which way?
Yeah, so
every way.
No.
Every single direction you can ever think of, it went that way.
No, the Big Bang.
In all directions at once.
Listen to what I'm asking. The Big Bang. Did it start behind us, above us, in front, below? Where did it begin?
Every direction.
Every direction, yeah.
Every position.
There's multiple Big Bangs.
every single one you can think of. Yes.
No, listen.
But there is
So
no
listen.
listen.
You're confused. You're confused. So there's no planets, Earth, stars, nothing. You got this singularity. So
no, but all of the ingredients for everything that we've got nowadays were there. That's the thing.
No, before all of that,
it was all there. It just happened to, collapse down into a single point and then expand so quickly outwards that it caused more heat.
Right, exactly. That single point. Yeah. That's
some
my
elements
point.
that were there.
That's
all
my
of the
point.
elements.
That's
some
my point.
Of the elements that.
That's what I'm saying. So that single point there.
Some of the elements that we've got in this existence as we've got it now probably didn't exist before the Big Bang. They don't know what existed before the Big Bang, other than the matter was there.
So you're afraid,
aren't
you?
All drawn into it.
Energy was there.
Yo, are you claiming the Big Bang actually happened, or are you just speculating?
No, we're gonna go with him that he thinks it's happened, because obviously he can't. I was gonna say, can you prove the Big Bang? But that would just kill the conversation.
I'll let someone else go anyway.
Chemo, why does this require going all the way back then?
Yeah,
Big Bang in the first place, Chemo. He's just telling you that that's where the energy originally came from. The only claim the Big Bang has is this amount of energy. All the energy in the universe existed in a small, tiny volume, which expanded. So that energy was always there. Well, I mean, the energy was there when the Big Bang happened. And if you any amount of gas that you're talking about, when you're saying, well, where'd that energy come from? It came from the sun. Then if you try to go all the way back, then it went to the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm. No. Again,
where did the energy from the Big Bang come from?
Go for it, percent.
The better question is...
So the end answer isn't the Big Bang, it's that we don't know.
That's not the end answer.
I think
that's the answer. That's the answer for where things came from. What happened before that, no one knows.
No, the answer was what's giving these particles the energy to move. He said the Big Bang, when in reality the energy for the Big Bang came from somewhere else.
Well, you know what? I think
there and the Big Bang, the moment of the Big Bang.
No, we want Cypher to finish up.
The first law of thermodynamics says that energy is not created or destroyed. You take these two principles, you get both the answers right there.
Remember the fertilizer explosion recently? Where did that happen? In Africa, I think, or somewhere. Imagine it like that. That's on a much smaller scale, but that's probably a good way of looking at what could have happened with the Big Bang, because you had all that fertilizer sitting in a warehouse, and then all of a sudden you had a warehouse, and then you had nothing because it got pretty well vaporized.
Terrible analogy.
Oh no.
I mean, it's an analogy. It's not probably the greatest analogy, but that's, if you want to look at that explosion and think of the Big Bang happening like that, that's, I guess, one way you could do it.
The question is, where did the fertilizer come from?
Where did
that question was answered?
The explosion. Where did the energy from the like, you can see the energy in that explosion as it rips through the atmosphere. Like, that energy was stored in the fertilizer. So think of the universe, the shit that was there before the Big Bang, as the fertilizer. And it got to the certain state where it suddenly fucking released all of the energy that it had in it and vaporized the fucking warehouse chain block.
Let's think about the explosion of that fertilizer. The first day that it happened, within the first 5 or 6 minutes after the explosion happened, it started being analyzed. People started saying, we think this, we think that. But initially, we didn't know what caused it. Didn't know where it came from. We just knew that there was a big explosion.
We do know where it comes from.
Then people started looking at the color and saying, oh, that looks like a nitrate explosion.
Obviously, it came in the opposite direction. Obviously, it came in the opposite direction. Look at Essie's picture. So obviously, it came in the opposite direction of that, not in front of the sun and that stuff. It comes from behind.
No, so you're making a mistake there, putting like up and down and left and right and directions into this. Like, as I said, the Big Bang expanded outwards everywhere. Every possibly conceivable direction it
Look
went.
at Essie's picture. So that means there could have been a sun and planets going up as well, and down and out the other way and back the other way.
Well,
as well as going this way, right? Exactly. If we reverse Essie's picture, reverse, then everything goes back to a single point. And obviously, if
you're saying Essie or Gypsy?
Essie Montreal's picture, if you look at it here, We can see how it's traveling in that direction.
His profile picture.
Yeah, his profile picture. So it's traveling in that direction because that's the Big Bang blew out in that direction, right?
The picture has nothing to do with the Big Bang, man.
No.
No, but why is it traveling in that direction? Why not the other direction?
Because of things that happened after the Big Bang, man.
Exactly.
The Big Bang is the first event.
That's
There's
why
no
I
need to try and pinpoint shit that happens this thing.
That's why I tried to use like the explosion as an example of visualizing how the shape of it might have taken place. I don't know. You're useless, Chemo.
I mean, yeah, we're just entertaining your presupposed idea of space.
You do make my brain work. I'll give you that.
Here we go. Look, why is it going in this direction and not the other direction?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the Big
What
Bang.
other direction?
Why is it going this way?
Why is there shit going all over the place in space?
No, this picture from SE, why is it going this way and not another way?
Because it's being attracted that direction. That star is the mass. That's the system. That's what's called a solar system. It's being attracted in that direction.
By what?
All those by the center of the galaxy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And it's not actually the direction. Yeah, and again, the direction. So that's the problem.
How do you know it's not being pushed away, Kosho? How do you know it's being pulled and not pushed?
Chemo, our solar system isn't moving upwards through the solar system or to the side of it or anything like that. That's just. I have problems with that
wanted
video,
to say
actually,
something.
the way
I
they
jumped on his
depict
toes.
that is not how it works.
Go ahead, SE. Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about, bro. Just look at all those motions.
That was so helpful.
Can I ask Cypher? The thing, did it have mass?
All of the mass in the universe, it was involved in it, yes. As far as I know. Like I said, I'm no expert on it, but I've looked into it a little bit.
Okay, so if it had mass, and we know that this Earth also has mass and it takes up a certain amount of area, what area did that take up if space didn't exist?
Chris,
It would have been a huge amount of shit. Like,
no, I'm saying outside. It had existence. It has mass, and all things with mass take up a certain amount of volume.
Yep,
right?
I'm with you.
That's a fact. So the amount of volume that the Big Bang took up, where did that exist at if space did not exist?
So that's the whole point of it being dense. All that energy existed in it.
But it happened.
I get what I do get what you're saying. Yeah, like how could that have happened if there wasn't space for that shit to have existed in, right?
That's not a contradiction, Chris.
Matter exists because you have nowhere to exist in.
It existed in the volume that's described. The size of the volume. That's why it was. That's why the temperatures were what they were. Because you have a massive amount of energy in a tiny volume.
All volumes take up area.
No,
what area was that in?
Volumes
take up space.
Yeah, and remember, like when it happened, like stuff changed from one form to another. Like there were a lot of fucking reactions, and it's like chemistry nowadays. You go mixing like baking soda with vinegar, and seal it up, you'll get a pop. Yeah, I get what you're saying. How could it have happened without space, enough of it being there for it all to have existed in? And yeah, like, space is weird. Like,
was it
I don't know where the edge of it is.
That's how it happened, though. This is David. I mean, Chris. There's all this massive amount of energy in this tiny space. Say it's the size of a grain of sand or something like that. All the space, the universe, in this tiny space, in this tiny volume. That's the reason why they calculate the temperatures and all the forces even were combined in one because the temperatures were so unimaginably hot. They're so unimaginably hot for a very long time.
It would have been.
Mass couldn't even be formed yet. Electromagnetism couldn't even exist.
It would have been vicious, man. Like the way I picture it is just like this red fucking cloud just hanging there with all sorts of lightning going off in it, and I don't know, like all sorts of different colors in this massive. I can't even, begin to imagine what the shit would have looked like before the Big Bang.
How are there all these different colors if it was a black hole?
No colors.
Because of, well, I don't know, the way things reacted between each other before the Big Bang, before everything got, so gravitationally attracted to each other, it collapsed and then started expanding outwards from all the energy.
What does what's gravity's effect on energy? I mean, it would have been just pure energy. So I don't know what it was.
Gravity, at this moment, gravity wasn't even isolated from the other forces.
No, yeah.
Forces would have been,
Yeah.
there would have been nothing indistinguishable about any of them. The energy would have been, the temperature would have been much hotter than anything you
Things
could
would be
possibly imagine.
different, yeah. Like much different to what we see in reality nowadays.
Here's a question. Do we have any
there
definitive
we go.
empirical evidence of 1 × 10⁻17 torr as being the pressure up in outer space?
I have deductive.
We can measure pressure.
I've measured from ground level to mountaintop personally. And then in airplanes, I trust them to say that there's low pressure outside the airplane. And based upon that, I can deduce that if you keep going up, it'll keep getting lower. Eventually, -17 would happen.
Yeah, but by that logic, you could go 10⁻18, 10⁻19, 10⁻20.
Yeah.
So
I don't say
why
that
10
can happen.
× 10⁻17?
In interstellar space, that might happen in places.
10⁻17 torr is not the biggest vacuum there is.
Exactly. So why is it that value? Where's the evidence that we've measured?
Because that's
that
the average
value?
volume. That's the average value of the pressure.
It's the average value, including.
Yeah, if you go to intergalactic space, I'm sure the pressure is going to be much less. I mean, not much less, but there's going to be even less pressure.
If you want to really get down to it,
we've measured both ends, right?
If I measure a small enough area of space, there's infinite vacuum, at least temporarily, between
Again, it's a
particles.
simple question. Where did we measure 1 × 10⁻17 torr?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Which satellite does that? I don't know.
You haven't heard of the Lala set?
Yeah, that's funny.
So did you guys hear it's the end of black holes?
No, didn't hear that.
Yeah, apparently they got downgraded. They're no longer dark, and they're no longer holes.
I don't think they were ever considered to be truly holes. That's a colloquial phrase. And as far as black goes, as long as I've known about them, they had coronas around them, whatever you want to call it. The event horizon really generating light beyond the
accretion disk. The accretion disk.
Accretion disk, yes. So there's nothing that's changed at all. Just because you're a moron didn't know that's what the proposed system was all along.
Yeah. Again, part of it's the naming of stuff. So part of the reason they called them black holes was because that's what they looked like when they were looking at them through telescopes out into deep space, where they found these, black hole looking things. So that's what they called them for the meantime. So yes, if they get a name upgrade, that's probably a good idea.
Black holes is a consequence of Einstein's general theory of relativity.
Why do you guys think they can be superseded like that?
I try to dumb it down.
You can never get that down.
Speaking of, did we lose Chemo? He seemed to have stopped harassing me.
By the way, black holes were named long before we ever spotted them.
Cipher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were searched for because they were predicted.
I very like. This sounds a little egotistical. I very like my analogy. You could say in the Earth that at sea level there are so many particles per square inch and fit that into one lane. Now, if you took that same amount of particles and pretend that the universe itself has 5 trillion lanes, those particles here on Earth that only have one lane have a lot more lanes to move around in.
Spread a lot, yeah, a lot more, yeah,
That is
spread.
what negative 17 towards. This is the amount of lanes.
You don't need lanes.
Yeah, it works.
Area. Just say space.
I know, lanes on a freeway take up space. I'm making a comparison here's percentage.
Hold on, Chris.
Yeah, but like an analogy is supposed to make something simpler to understand. You're adding variables.
Yeah, it does make it simpler. The amount of lanes, 10 to the negative 17 would be like 17 trillion lanes in space, compared to the cubic centimeter of molecules here on Earth at sea level. You put that out in space, they have a lot more lanes to move around in instead of just one.
Very good, Chris.
And if you don't understand a percentage, it's your own fault because other people here
Don't rub it in, Chris.
Bro, you're making the concept even more complicated with your analogy. The analogy is supposed to make it simple.
How come Kosho understood it?
All you need to say, no, everyone understands it, but it's unnecessarily complicated because you're adding more variables. All you need to say is in space there's more empty space. In outer space there's more space. So basically more volume.
I thought that was what you like to do, was make things unnecessarily complicated.
Just more volume.
I thought that was your whole thing, was making things unnecessarily complicated. Percent.
I didn't make it.
Chris, I like it. In a little bit we can go to a different room and we can work on perfecting it, all right?
Me and you in a room together?
Not Chris.
I'm not getting in a room with the percentage. He's gonna get earwig for shit.
You should make a La La Land room for Leo and private discussions.
Yeah, La La Land, that's so funny.
Yeah, let's make it La La Land.
That's funny there, SC.
By the way, let's remind SC that he considers orbiting planets a fantasy. He's like, you believe in this fantasy?
It's a fantasy.
No, dude, I have them taped.
You out of your mind, you believe this.
Check out my site, Jupiter and the 4 Moons, dude.
Look at my original content. I say La La Land a lot.
You think that's a reality right there? That Jupiter that you see there? You think that's a reality? I think my SC imitation is a little too Yogi Bear. Like, hey, boo boo.
It's gotten better than
the picnic baskets.
It's gotten better than it used to be for sure. But yeah, but that's a good question though, Mr. SC. You've seen these the observations of Jupiter and its moons. I think Gypsy posted the GIF earlier. But what does that tell you? Do you see the? Because I've seen this in a telescope, which is you see them all in pretty fine detail. Like you see the surface.
You see spinning balls and objects following gravitational.
It's obvious. It goes around
orbital.
Go around it. So.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You see that? Orbits are real, right?
I'll tell you what I see. I see what you guys claim is a ball of gas in space, and I laugh at it. I know it's not that. It's not a...
Guys, hold on for a second. SC, you have a horrible echo, so what you're going to have to do is not speak when other people are speaking. Other people have to not speak while he's speaking, and otherwise it's not gonna work, SC, because you have a horrible echo.
Hey, boo boo! There's no black holes. That
was a good one.
So you guys have no clue about what I told you about the black hole thing? You're just laughing.
Black holes is literally the very fringes of our understanding of science of the universe, right? So the fact that we may completely abandon black holes somewhere down the road means nothing.
Or the fact that we don't know every in and out of a black hole, therefore the Earth is flat.
So
that's what it's equated to.
So welcome to my way of thinking.
We're going to have to choose some people to send into the black hole.
Hey, I think we should start with Earthquake Guy. What do you guys think?
I'd volunteer just to get away from the flat earthers, honestly.
Do me a favor.
Maybe they're seeing her on the other side.
What happened though? You might, since time gets all screwed up, you might actually hear SE talking forever.
There is no other side.
Oh God, why? Oh God, yeah, I'm rethinking this now.
SE, can you test it with me real quick? Can you just start talking right now while I'm talking? Just talk right now.
What do you want me to say? Testing. Blah, 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 blah.
No, just making sure it was you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you need to turn your gain down a little bit there, dude.
I'll try to set it up.
Microphone.
It's just that he's using external speakers. That's it.
Yeah, and people didn't. The guys try not to talk at the same time with him, just because that's the only time it happens. But yeah, SE, will you just explain about the Jupiter thing without saying like, yeah, it's a fantasy or something like that? Can you just like, how do you think that there's an object with other objects going around it, and how is that not in orbit?
Sure. I'll tell you what I see. I see something there. I see a ball of light with these other balls of light. Now, they say that it's a ball of gas in a vacuum. Now, I say that is impossible due to physics.
Right, but you can see the surface features are swirling around like they're gas. and then those objects that are orbiting seem to be moving so in perpetuity. They've been observed now for centuries, which means that somehow they're not losing energy, which would not be, if they're in some medium, we would expect them to be losing energy, right?
And how well versed in physics are you, SA?
Well enough to know that gas pressure next to a vacuum is impossible.
Where did you get that information from?
But SE, you've already heard the arguments a million times that there is no place where you have high pressure next to low pressure. It doesn't exist.
Yep, I heard about your thing.
The pressure 6 inches above my phone is lower than 6 inches below my phone. It's measurable.
Consistent.
So, you claim that we have a ball surrounded by gas and water, spinning, traveling at many vectors, at millions of miles an hour, and somehow this gas remains on it. I call bull.
Yeah. But you can see it in space, so it can't be bull, right? Because we can see a manifestation of all of those things that are impossible actually happening.
No, I just explained to you. That thing that you think you see, Jupiter, is in violation of the laws of physics.
No, it's not.
That's one
We
possibility.
don't see space. We see sky.
It's one
You
possibility.
didn't explain.
Yeah.
You didn't explain anything. You made a stupid, retarded assertion based on your ignorance, your complete lack of understanding of anything reasonable.
Listen, Cloud, I don't care what your opinion is. That was mine. You don't like it? Sit down, Curved.
I will not sit down. I will continue to speak against you because you are technically stupid.
Well, you can speak while sitting down.
Curved, you are definitely one of the dumbest people here.
I'll stand up. I'll stand up and shout. I'll
But
sing
can
the
you
entire
pee
goddamn
when you're sitting?
Rockstar soundtrack if I feel like it.
Okay, stand up.
Why don't you do what John Travolta's for us?
Why don't you go do John Travolta? Sounds like it's more your style.
John Travolta
Well,
sings.
Jupiter absolutely violates SE's laws of physics. The problem is SE's laws of physics are incorrect.
Yeah, right. So your laws of physics are, he's right with what Bloomer said, but the simple fact is I'm showing you the observation of it happening. So the fact that it violates your understanding means either reality is wrong or your understanding is wrong. And I think it's pretty obvious.
No, let me explain to you. Let me explain to you what's happening, dude. You saw something in the sky And you're saying, look, this is what's happening here on Earth.
No, I'm showing you something happening in the sky and claiming what's happening in the sky. That's the whole question was about. It had nothing to do with Earth. I was asking you about Jupiter, about what was happening, how those objects were seemingly going around Jupiter.
Well, here's another thing with that. I wouldn't want what's happening on Jupiter to be happening here on Earth because holy fuck, that would be not good.
Let me guess, the 300-year storm.
Yeah, that for starters. So what's happening on Jupiter, no, isn't what's happening here on Earth.
No, what is Jupiter?
Again, I see.
There are way more scary things in deep space than just a storm, right? A magnetar, for example.
You don't have to go to the sky very far to refute SE's claim about this vacuum and pressure. It's very simple. We don't need to go out into space for this to know that we've got the gradient before we ever get to space, thereby eliminating the need for this alleged container to separate pressure from slightly lower pressure, as we have in our atmosphere gradients unseparated by containers. It's that simple. Anything else you want to argue about is really a waste of time.
Stay secure in your fantasy.
Go ahead, Essie.
No, go ahead, bro. I've done this millions of times. Go ahead.
I'm not going to get it done.
I was going to say the only waste of time is asking a glober for definitive empirical evidence of their
Again, shithead rhetoric is not going to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we don't believe you.
Ironic that Druss just asked you for that today, for your empirical evidence for that flat Earth, and you didn't provide it.
No, he agreed to it.
Oh, he asked you for evidence, and you did not bring anything to the table.
He agreed
except
that
to
the
try
horizon
to.
is observably flat and motionless.
No, he doubted that.
No, he
Do
agreed
you
that
not
it's
remember?
observably flat and motionless.
Well, not measurably, right? And you have to provide that evidence for that when you claim that it is. But you say you don't know. Okay, so fine.
So you agree as well that it's observably flat and motionless?
No, I disagree with that.
So
You have to provide
observe
that
a curved
evidence.
horizon?
You have to provide that evidence. What I observe is irrelevant now. You have to. You claim that, right? Or you say
No,
it's
it definitely is
that
not
you don't
irrelevant.
know.
Because if we agree, then
You-
there's no contention.
Do you claim that it's flat? Yes or no?
It's observably flat and motionless.
So then provide that evidence for that.
Before you get the observations, you observe it yourself.
What observation?
Looking at the horizon,
I
it looks
don't.
flat.
I disagree. No, where's the evidence for
feeling
that?
the movement, and you don't feel any motion.
Just sitting there and say, "Oh, it looks like is useless." Percentage.
Okay, I guess it's useless to say the sky's blue.
That is not. I told you that is a bad comparison.
No, it's not.
Yes, it's a bad example.
Observably, all you have to do is pay attention to what you're observing, and you can simply tell that it does. You can't observe it to be moving. If you look at the horizon, you'll notice that you stare at it long enough, you'll see all the things come up from the horizon and go down towards the horizon. All the objects in the sky. So you can't determine that with that alone that the Earth is moving. But if you study that long enough, then you'll see that that is what's happening. And if you measure it with some other type of observation device, like anything that could pick up the movement and pick up the acceleration or the rotation, you'll get further observation that where the one's moving. It is demonstrably observable.
Sure it is, bud.
Did you
That's
ever
settled.
sort out your script, Kosho?
Say again?
The script you were working on, did you ever sort it out?
Oh yeah, I can't right now though, but yeah. It's a
You
whole
did
thing.
sort it out?
Say again?
You say you did sort it out?
No, I didn't. So I didn't sort it out. I was gonna chat with you about it at some point, but I can't right now.
Okay, cool.
You know what I find fascinating? You guys claim we know what's happening on Jupiter, yet we don't know what's happening beneath our feet.
Okay, well, that's wrong. We have an idea of what's happening beneath our feet, and we have less of an idea of what's happening on Jupiter, but both have pretty high confidences.
The idea of what's happening beneath your feet is you can be about as confident as that as you can Jupiter.
More confident, but also, we can see what's happening on Jupiter, and we can experience what's happening beneath our feet. I mean, they're both pretty high confidences. None of them are. Neither of them. They're both pretty high confidence. I don't see why you guys are saying that.
They're both pretty low. They're both pretty low.
No, whenever a volcano erupts, it doesn't surprise us. Like we don't know when it's going to happen, but we know what's happening. We know why earthquakes happen. I don't understand. We know what kind of stuff's going to come out from under there.
Hey, Kosha, imagine a couple of 12-year-olds. They've never had a drop of alcohol in their life, but they're running their mouth, boasting about how they would drink you under the table. That's what we have here right now.
I don't know why you even bother to argue with Jeremy Kosho. You know that he was like captain of his high school contradiction team, right?
Sure.
I don't even know what that means.
If it's true, say no.
I didn't go to high school, and they didn't have a contradiction team.
You go to high school? I didn't believe that.
I didn't go to high school.
He was.
I was just trying to be contradictory.
Son of a bitch. It's another thing we have in common, Jeremy. You fucking lying.
No, I was just trying to be I make a contradictory statement right after he said that. I thought it would have been funny.
Were you being contradictory though?
About not going to high school and that high school not having a contradictory team.
Very believable.
It might not be the best example.
No, the answer is you weren't being contradictory.
Would you call that cognitive dissonance? What would you call that?
He's trying to make you contradict it.
Oh.
So I take it nobody had any clue about what I said about the black hole thing?
Say it again for us, Essie. Some people just got here.
I read in this science journal that they're saying now that a black hole no longer is black, and it's no longer a hole.
What is it?
They're saying now it could be a neutron star.
Yeah, that's not news, man. So black holes are not holes. That is actually correct. And neutron stars, you can think of a black hole the same way as you think of a neutron star. The only difference is it's got even more mass to volume. It's got more density, so that even light can't escape it.
This sounds exactly like what I was taught in school.
So hold on now. You had no clue what I was talking about just a second ago, but now you're an expert in what I was talking about.
Context will do.
Yeah.
You got a link, SA? A link to anything we could read?
I have it on my computer, Blue. I'll dig it out and I'll post it later. I promise you.
Do you remember which journal it was?
Hey, Blue, I wouldn't hold your breath. You might die.
Do you remember which journal it was, Essie?
Not really. I think it was Science Journal.
Like I said, Blue, I wouldn't hold your breath. You might die.
What was that? We can't hear you, Leo.
I also don't like the fact that they call it a neutron star because once you reach a certain point of the neutron star, the properties of a neutron star change and become a black hole. So it's no longer a neutron star. They no longer emit light.
No, so the light can't escape the gravity well, but
It's inherently different.
yeah, that's why they're two different things. But a neutron star is still a star, and it's not the same thing as a normal star, but it's classified as the same thing. I mean, if it's not wrong to say that a black hole could have been a little bit less mass. It could have been a neutron star. Like that mass from a neutron star would still be there. That's why it's not really a hole.
You wanted to hear what I was saying, SE? I told Blue not to hold his breath because he might die. Waiting for your quote. Just like your quote with gas pressure in the container thing. No one has ever provided that, and he's been asking for years.
Also, now you change your story.
No one has ever provided the quotation from a science paper that you can't have gas pressure next to a container without a container.
I don't believe that is what Blue was asking for, Leo. I think you're a little slow today.
No, he was asking for you to provide a reference or a paper on your black hole thing, and I told him not to hold his breath because
Lael thinks you're moving in a linear motion. If today Lael said you're moving in a
Do you
linear
have any
motion.
reason for interrupting him, Jeremy?
what flat earthers do, you know.
You guys not.
Are you sure it was from a journal and not Scientific American, SE?
Look, I saved it on my computer. What next time I'm on, I'm gonna post it for you guys.
I understand that you don't have it in front of you. The reason I'm asking is because I'm trying to find it. I found something from Scientific American, so I'm trying to see if this is possibly it. So that's why, if you told me that you weren't sure, I'd be like, okay.
Go ahead, read it. Maybe it's that. Go ahead. What does it say?
The title says "Mystery Object Blurs Line Between Neutron Stars and Black Holes." That's the title.
No, that was not it. No. Does it say anything about fuzzy stuff? There was some fuzzy stuff references. I can't wait to read it out to you guys.
Well, it does say mystery objects. But let me see if it says fuzzy stuff. Hold on.
I'm gonna Google black hole fuzzy stuff. Help you out.
Be careful.
Would it say like fuzzy stuff or fuzzy data?
Please don't, Curve. You might come up with stuff you don't want to see.
Trust me, I was laughing just as hard, guys. Trust me on this.
If y'all think Curved hasn't Googled that before, then y'all are ridiculous. Guarantee it's on his top 10.
Well, do you see what Nick has posted?
If you type B in his browser, that comes up.
Yeah, he's posted.
Yeah, top 10 for sure.
There's the fuzzball. I told you guys.
So is this the paper?
It's part of it, probably. If you hear fuzzball, that's it.
Did you think that it's strange that it has the word theory in it? So it's not even like...
Wild theory.
Yeah, wild theory.
So this is like a what if question. Is what this looks like. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
So this isn't the current science. Sorry.
Of course, it's the paper. Just come out.
So what do you have to say now, Leo?
About the fact that you have a theory or hypothesis?
I still hold to my thing because you didn't provide it. Kosho provided it.
No, Nick posted this one.
Leo, don't make me start insulting you, huh?
The fact of the matter is you yourself did not post it. Someone else did. Someone had to do your research.
Okay, Leo. It's on.
Nothing's on. You're not doing anything but being lazy.
Why don't we focus on the subject, because it's kind of a downhill race. This kind of thing.
I like downhill. I'd like to make a point here.
We don't care.
Them attacking, or whatever y'all want to call it. How stupid is that? He's already done the research, you Momo. It's on his computer.
I see we still have people participating in the race, but turns out the results are in. Everyone loses. So
And
let's just
Leo's
go ahead
an
and,
idiot.
I lost faster.
and
I lost faster though. Come on.
very good, Chris.
So we figured out Lael is a moron this morning, and fuzzball things exist.
Even with Leo's moron nature, if you want to call it that, he's still far superior to you.
Disagree.
You
I'm not
disagree?
superior to anybody.
You don't think you're more superior than SC? I tend to agree with that also. I'm going to agree with you, Leo.
Perfect. I don't think I'm more superior than anybody, though.
You did walk right into that one, though. It is
Well,
Friday.
I
Leo.
should say
Cheer up.
superior in his understanding of the model, of the current
Leo,
model.
cheer up, man. It's Friday. I know you and I don't drink, but we can still be cheerful, especially on payday.
What else?
There's a possibility.
Bro, it's payday for Rocky.
What else is in SE's picnic basket of science here?
That's what we're trying to talk. We're trying to look through. So far, this paper just looks like it's just talking about the perceived problem of black holes. I'm trying to see what data they're actually found to make these claims.
They're making shit up, bro.
And why did you lead us in this direction then?
Just to show you the latest bullshit.
Layla's bullshit. This is your
Latest.
Yeah.
It's the latest.
Oh, latest bullshit. Yeah, I mean, listen, anybody can write a paper. So showing us that somebody's written a paper that looks bullshit, it's not really, that doesn't affect any of us. It wouldn't affect you.
Yeah, but you guys were agreeing with it in the beginning and saying,
I would do that. Use it to say that you were wrong. That doesn't even make sense.
I didn't say you were wrong. But when I brought it up, you guys were saying before, oh, of course we know this. Until I brought up the fuzzball. You guys are too funny, man.
SE, use your superhuman intelligence to work out how to fix that horrible fucking echo you've got going on.
You never usually have an echo like that, so I don't know if you're doing something different, but
Curve, I hate to be a part of this race, but your mic is terrible. When you complain about someone else's, it's really, really like irony definition.
There's not a damn thing wrong with my microphone.
So it is just the
Kind of
user,
sounded
right?
like Duke Nukem just then, Curved.
Those alien bastards are gonna pay for taking our chicks.
I don't have time to bleed.
Gonna kick ass and chew bubblegum.
Can I have a question?
Oh.
Hello? I can hear
No,
me.
I'm gonna have the Duke Nukem theme music stuck in my head. Thanks a lot, Moya.
Hello.
Hello.
What'd y'all do,
Jump in and do it.
Did y'all fire Xanac?
Hold on,
Okay, so
Blumito's
This is
trying
Philo.
to ask a question of everyone.
Yeah, I asked a question about Xanac. Did y'all fire him?
Well, Blumito
just-
was talking before that.
Yeah, just simple question.
Does he know about
Go ahead,
Xanac?
man.
Like, on a globe model, you would be not able to see Venus and Mercury when it's full moon. Am I right?
I've heard people say this before. It's not true.
Yep. So
Oh.
I don't try to debate or something. I just want to have some discussion and more information about what you guys think about it.
Why would it be true? The motion of the moon is independent of Mercury and Venus.
No, because if you look on a full moon, then if you look back to the Venus or Mercury, it's the dark side of that planet.
Okay. I've made a picture like this.
The
for
motions
somebody. I think for
are
SE,
completely
actually.
the motions are completely independent of the moon. So I don't see what you're talking about.
SE actually made this claim at some point in the past, and has since conceded it.
okay, maybe then you might, in an angle, you would see max like half of Venus, half of Mercury. You wouldn't see more if it's full moon.
I don't understand what the relationship with the full moon would be.
Well, yeah,
The moon is full when the moon is in opposition of the sun.
Yeah, but still, you really would not be able to see it because it's closer to the sun, right?
Yeah, Jake. Whenever they were making this claim before, we showed them in I forget how many programs, but like the moon is opposite of the sun, and Venus and Mercury are closer to the sun than we are, but also could be, say, perpendicular, and at their position, which is something they're not really realizing.
Well, I don't understand the relationship there because the positions in their orbits are independent of the position of the moon.
Yeah, no, but like I said, they're in their head, they're referencing the moon's position, which would be opposite the sun, and Mercury's in Venus' position, which would be in the same side as the sun.
Yeah, well, they're always on the side of the sun. That's why you can never see.
What you mean? We always can see Venus and Mercury.
That's why they're getting confused.
You can only see Venus and Mercury near sunset or near sunrise.
And if you're near sunset on a full moon, then the sun is on one side of you from your position, and the moon is on the other side of you. So there's no reason why you can't see the Venus and Mercury. It's just that's a claim people get wrong, Mr. Guy.
How is the moon tied into this? Because you're not looking at the moon and Venus and Mercury together. So what's the tie into the moon?
There is, like Jake said, there is no tie-in. There is no correlation between the observability of the interior planets and the moon.
So again, Blumito, what's your point?
I mean, Mercury and Venus closer to the sun, and you will be not able to full like a full planet. From there,
that's
you
true.
would see like half. You would not see more than half.
That's not true. The moon, the Mercury have phases like the moon. You can only see part of the surface illuminated by the sun. They have phases, but it's not true to say you can only ever see half of them. And it's not true to say that there is any relationship between the position of the moon and the observability of Venus and Mercury.
Don't know, man. I've never seen like half Venus or half Mercury.
Have you ever looked at it through a telescope?
No.
So what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, one thing he needs to understand.
No, I've been looking on telescope footages like in internet, and never I've been seeing.
Look for phases of Venus.
Would say, huh?
Look for phases of Venus.
I will check it out.
When you're looking in the night sky at Venus and Mercury, and you see these lights, you're not resolving the physical body of the planet itself. Do you understand that?
Yeah, it looked
You're
like
seeing
just
the light.
like a light. Yeah, just like a crazy light. It doesn't look even like a planet.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to, like, with your naked eye, really, like, observe the phase of Venus up in the sky. I think you think because it looks like a full light that you're seeing more than you're supposed to of it, as if the entire side facing you is illuminated, and it's not. Is this making any sense? Do you get what I'm saying?
Either way, when you look on the Mercury, you see some light.
Damn it,
and most of
Bazar.
the time, you not even be able to see the light from it, because most of the part is the dark side of the planet.
That was so hard to find. I mean, I'm incredulous about Venus and how it looks, so I don't do any research at all. Don't try and look. I just come up with and say, oh, you can't do it.
No, I didn't make any claims. I already said I don't want to do any debates or something. I was just questioning what you guys think about it. I didn't come with some positive claims or something. I just came for more information.
And when the guy, I made a picture before, but I can't find it, so I made a new one. But it'll give you an idea of why whoever told you it was impossible is wrong. It's perfectly possible.
No. If I think in my head, if I think the angles, so you will be not able to see it. Never.
I know.
It's gonna be always be like maximum half you're gonna see it, or less.
That's not true.
Don't you, man? Yeah.
That's not true.
Why are you so hostile?
Talking with idiots.
Listen, he sounds like he's pretty genuine to me.
Is this about the full moon and Venus in one picture?
Twit, why aren't you more hostile?
I ask a question. Is this about the full moon?
Guys,
and it takes one to know one, and you claim he's an idiot, and you're wrong. So that means you're an idiot.
Just shut up. Just shut up. Litchman is asking a question.
It's about the full moon and the Venus in one picture.
Yeah.
I see the video, and that is not a full moon. It's an overexposed moon. In one frame, 2 frames, you can see it's not a full moon.
The problem is that it's not an issue, though, to see both the full moon and Venus.
Yeah, but that is not really a full moon.
I think I know what they're saying. Hold on, Kosha. I think I know what they're saying. You wouldn't expect to see Venus or Mercury at the height of a full moon when the full moon is up high at the zenith.
Yeah.
Because that would be the middle of the night.
Of course.
And you wouldn't be looking in the direction of the sun.
That's what he's stating, though.
Exactly.
Again, though, so that's a true statement.
But you'd have no problem to see them when the moon would be near the horizon.
Just like in the image I drew, or I made, whatever. If you're in the position where the X is, then it's going to be sunset on one side of the Earth. On the other side, the moon will be rising, and Venus could be.
Plus, here the scale is very out. The distance between the sun, what they're claiming, they are much further away. So angles will be much. Well,
no, it'll be much easier to see Venus then.
Yeah, I know, but it's gonna be angle will be much smaller as well when you're gonna take the right scale. What they claiming it is.
And fix the scale, it would be just as easy to see Venus at this time of the day.
Okay, maybe I'm not sure about that. It's still, I understand it. At all, I'm kind of like more on flat Earth, because you know what? This one thing that's really keeps me on it. Like 50 years ago, they claimed they went to the moon. And since then, they're spending those millions a day, and no fucking progress.
Yeah,
50
we
years.
heard this all before. I remember you from the other day.
So much? Why they
I gave
hold
you a
so
little
many
bit of
fakery?
questioning, and you failed miserably.
I just
they didn't go to the moon.
Trust them. I see they lie, or they hiding something. Yeah, very, very much. What is not right?
What do you know?
Or Earth is flat.
You have not demonstrated in any way, shape, or form that you have enough knowledge to form an opinion on whether something is true or a lie. You seem to be relatively confused about virtually everything so far.
So far, I don't see curvature. So far, I see only sky move above me. So far, it looks flat, even how high you go.
So far, you're reasoning like a child, like Pocahontas.
This guy sounds like Habib.
Yeah, but wait. Do you can preserve for me something that would change my mind? I just believe for reality what I experience in my life. So can you tell me why I should think we are on a ball?
Yo, Blumito,
Gypsy,
say we went to the moon. This #1 bullshit.
No.
Hey, Leo, you still there? Give me a second, guys. Leo, dipshit, you're still there?
See, we're not going to take time to do anything like that, man.
Okay, just
You
for
have to
the
end the
record, I
conversation.
posted.
The conversation.
Yeah, Kosho, I agree, but just for dipshit Lil, I just
DM
posted.
him
Quit
then.
calling him a dipshit, man.
He's a dipshit.
Dude, if he's a dipshit,
Yeah, that's
then
not an
he's
ad
fucking,
hom. That's
like,
that's
not
a
even
fact, like y'all
alive.
say.
Yeah, guys, listen, we're not going to race downhill once again.
Hey guys, when Curve does it,
Seriously.
it's okay, but when
He's
someone else
actually
does
talking
it,
to somebody about something, man.
all right,
Right?
it's not very good.
That's you
We're
guys.
gonna have to moderate
being
you if you're
side
not
man.
Curve.
What
Keep
is
the conversation going.
Rakia? Is Rakia asking for moderation?
Yeah, I think he is.
No, I'm asking for less moderation. The mod is stepping in when he doesn't
Who the
need
fuck
to.
is less moderation?
Flat Earthers are revolting this evening.
No disrespect. Dipshit Lil asked for my proof.
No
that
disrespect. I'm just gonna call this guy to
and I just posted
several
it.
fucking times over.
Let's see what. Just finish what you're saying without taking too much time. Yes.
No, I just wanted to say Dip asked me to post something and I did. That's it.
Yeah. We see. Yeah, it's just the same. Yeah, it's the same one like Nick posted. It's cool.
Yeah, so now Curve can answer that guy. Does he have any definitive proof that there's curvature to the water that he sees laying flat? He asked Curve directly, I think.
Yes.
You can
Would you have something for me?
Well, first of all, I got to get some volume set up here that keeps fluctuating, and I'm having trouble hearing. What is it that you want, Blamita?
Huh?
He wants you to explain something so he can hand wave it away.
Turn your hearing aid up, Curved.
Okay.
Explain this to again. After everything we went through the other day, I don't see any point in talking to this clown really until he's
There's no need to call him a clown, Curve. I'm gonna have to step in here as your mod. No real reason to call him a clown.
Rakia,
last
No,
long.
no.
your sense
Kosho
of
made it
humor.
very clear there's no reason to do that.
Last long if you're just gonna keep doing that, dude.
It's cool. I can just go mute, guys.
Hey, Mr. White Knight Rakia, do you correct FP Montreal?
Guys,
there's no need for that.
Let's not race downhill. Like let's not do it. There's no point in doing that. There's no point in doing that.
I determined this evening, Coach, to shit it up.
What's this guy? What's this guy's and the other guy?
Blamito.
Stop.
In the beanies, near the top of the list.
Yeah.
You mean the guy that Curve called the clown and several other names and said he's no need to talk to him because he's so dumb as you cut me off?
If you're gonna waste everyone's time, it's not gonna last.
Why'd you cut me off?
Because you're wasting everyone's time. I'm addressing this guy Blamito for a reason. Because he's not wasting everyone's time. He's not just
but Curve's already shut him down.
He possibly can. Just please stop doing that.
That's why he shut. That's why he said he was going to go on mute because Curve said there was no reason to talk to him because he was so dumb.
Talking, Kia. Please.
No, keep talking so Kosho can kick you out.
No, wait. One small correction. I never said there was no reason to talk to him. I said for me to explain it to him again.
Oh, you got to
talk after what we went through the other day. I don't see the point in me talking to him.
But he requests you, Curve.
Did you guys talk? Did you guys talk?
You can all talk to him. I'm not trying to stop anyone from talking to him. So don't imply that, Rakia. You understand?
Well, don't imply that he's dumb and beneath you.
I did not imply it. I will state it outright, Rakia, and you will have nothing to say about it.
Yeah, you're just lying now.
Well, to be honest, Rocky, if he says he can, maybe there's multiple he could be admitting he doesn't have the power to explain it, so he's not going to do. There's multiple.
That wasn't I would rather Curve not talk, so that wasn't my point. My point is Curve made it very simple, very clearly that this.
No
guy
one gives
was
a fuck,
total
dude.
idiot.
I swear to God, I'm not wasting my fucking day to listen to this bullshit. All right. There's actual people in here there's people who don't want to hear about this bullshit. Stop racing the fuck downhill. All right? Curb said what he said, and that was his piece. It was done. You don't have to fucking focus on this shit for fucking ever, dude. I'm not spending hours doing this.
Don, any last words before we move forward with conversation?
I mean, psychology's cool, but the physics of psychology is cooler. I posted about the moon. Did y'all see that moon picture from the ISS? That was pretty cool.
The refraction one.
Can I race down the hill quicker than anybody else?
Jump on the sleigh, Leo.
Well, you started us at the bottom when you said if you're standing on the earth, you're moving in a linear motion. We started at the bottom from that.
Thanks, Jeremy.
There's nowhere lower.
I was talking to Curved.
There's nowhere lower to go after that, Leo.
Thanks, Jeremy. There's always lower. We can listen to you.
Lower than that.
There's no reason for that.
Oh, yeah. You didn't correct Jeremy.
Yes. Yeah. I don't have to correct SC and everyone else. Coach will make sure and do that. Actually, Lel started it.
So, moving forward with actual conversation.
I said I want to win to the
Saying
bottom.
all flat earthers do this and crap like that.
I just said I want to win to the bottom of the hill. What's wrong with that?
No, Lale, you're a shit disturber.
You have a problem with me winning it to the bottom of the hill?
How could you go to the bottom of the hill when you started there? There.
Good one, Jeremy.
Oh my God, that's a skateboard paradox, isn't it? I read about that in the Scientific Journal, man. That shit's
started from.
Is that idiot Stone that hits his head with
I haven't
rocks?
turned down so. I haven't turned
genius
down so low.
SE,
It's just
man?
mumble.
Is that idiot
Nobel
Stone that hits
Prize
his head with
winner
rocks?
Is that holder of 5
Everyone, dude, just turn them down, and then you don't have to ever acknowledge them.
Yeah, don't ever fuck with reality, man. Just turn it down. Just mute reality. You don't need to hear it.
You want to be
Oh,
treated
they're
like
not
gentlemen?
like
Talk like gentlemen.
You're
It's
not
as
a
simple
gentleman,
as that.
dude. You're not even fucking close.
You, Stone, you're a fucking asswipe. I'd spit in your face if I saw you in live.
If you're reality Stone, I don't want any part to do with it.
So easy. It's just too easy.
If I have to act like you, Stone, and treat people the way you do, if that's reality, I don't want no part of it. I like my imaginary world.
I'm sure you do. And you bring it here
I don't
every
have
day.
to use
Share
imaginary
it with
that
us.
often.
Just share it
I
with
bring
us.
it here every day.
I appreciate you sharing
Come
your
on, can I ask some
Go ahead.
questions
I need
maybe?
the entertainment.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask some questions. Stone, answer.
How do we
I'm not
get
here to answer your questions. I'm here to laugh at you.
Come
dude.
on.
Have you not figured
just-
that out yet?
You're here to waste time. Kosho, that
I'm
guy's
not
here
here
just
to
to laugh
waste
at
time.
people. Shouldn't you take care of that?
All right, Blumito,
Please,
your question,
Kosho,
and you
take care
guys
of all
quit
the
the
people that are
bickering.
here to
Shut up.
laugh at ladders.
How do we
Kosher
get
knows
the
that
Earth's
very well that
radius?
Stone is a dickhead.
Quit the bickering. Blumito,
Can
ask
somebody
your
send me
question.
some information about that? How do we calculate the Earth's radius? You should
Lumito,
somebody
Jamal
know.
Mubarak.
Yeah.
Just dig you a well and get a couple sticks.
How many different methods do you want?
No,
besides...
any. If you can send more, it would be even better. That would be nice.
Have you not seen any so far?
No, really not.
Not
That
research.
means one is more than none, so...
No,
I mean,
I've
the
been
quickest
read about-
the quickest answer is just go look up history of geodesy on
I know
Wikipedia.
some.
Blumito, do you want an answer or do you just want to talk over it?
Oh, sorry about that.
You got somebody trying to explain it to you. Listen.
I was just saying the quickest way to get some answers is look up history of geodesy on Wikipedia. That'll give you a bunch.
You mean that dude with the stick?
That's one.
No evidence that ever happened.
I don't
So
care
how
if the event described actually happened. The event was described in ancient times and it works.
But doesn't you need the distance to the sun for that calculation?
Nope. You just need to determine that it is a great distance away compared to the size of the Earth, and he did that.
And parallel light rays.
Okay, but it works in my mind on a flat surface as well. would.
Are you not familiar with triangles?
Well, wait a minute. You think the sun is a great distance from the flat Earth compared to the size of the flat Earth? How does that work?
No, I'm not sure, but I see in my mind that would work as well. You would have 800 kilometers away, you would have a angle.
No. 800 kilometers is a tiny distance compared to the size of the Earth.
I mean, the United States alone
Not
is
with
3,000 miles
refracted
across.
light. Not if you really think of how light comes into our atmosphere. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but many people have driven across the United States, and it's about 3,000 miles across. That's a fact.
Well, they don't listen to us anyway. Let Rukia explain how light enters our atmosphere and explains
all
this
different kind of
apparent
ways.
problem.
Yeah, all different kind of ways. So shadows can be explained.
I just want to know what that has to deal with people who have driven across the United States.
Well, why are you soaking up the wisdom of Rukia?
Eratosthenes assumes spherical light rays, parallel light rays from a
Share with
spherical
us,
Earth.
Rukia.
It is
Share
absolute
with us all
bollocks.
these magical ways.
We know the light rays are divergent, and as they enter
Pocahontas,
more
we're
and
not
more
moving on
density,
yet.
hold up, Kurt.
Rukia is explaining his claim. Pocahontas.
No,
doing a good job.
I'm going to jump in real quick, and then Rukia could go right on.
Oh, well,
If that's no
Rukia
problem with you,
talk
Rukia.
shit and not back any of it up as
All right.
usual.
So, anyways,
Go ahead, lie away.
Even the globe Earth model claims that these light rays are not perfectly parallel. They claim that they're divergent, right?
Why do you talk so fast?
Very like slightly divergent, if you will. But as they're entering through these 93 million miles of sporadic particles, and then the atmosphere that we have, this dense atmosphere, Snell's law says that they're going to diverge more and more. With all of these particles, they're going to keep on diverging.
No.
So how is it that
It doesn't say that they're
most
going to diverge more
hold
and
up,
more.
let me finish. How is it that by the time they get to Earth, to like terra firma, when they're most divergent that they'll ever be, they are almost perfectly parallel?
They are not the most divergent they will ever be. The farther you get from a light source, the less divergent the light is.
Are they parallel?
What are you talking about?
Are they parallel?
You're not understanding.
They have to be perfect. Did you not listen to what I said earlier?
From the point sources, they diverge more and more. These light rays.
The only way that works is if you're considering all of the light rays, not the light rays falling on the target that you're talking about.
They'll be farther from the origin point, but
For the light falling on a given target, the farther that target is away from the light source, the less divergent that light is. This is not
You can
complicated.
prove that simply. Yeah, all you have to do is get a flashlight. All you got to do is get a flashlight and then put two pencils up and then see the angle of the shadow of the pencils up close to the flashlight and then start backing it away and see that the shadow will become more and more parallel.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's not analogous because we're talking about lights from a sphere, right? And they're supposed to be going in all these different directions to begin with because they're spherical, right? So it's diverging already, and you guys are claiming just because it's so far away, they look like they're parallel.
Go ahead, do the experiment.
Even those lights are still diverging. They're all
just
still
go do the experiment with the light bulb then. That's light emitting in all directions. What?
The lights are all still diverging. The light rays are diverging.
We're not concerned with all of the light rays. We're concerned only with the light rays hitting our target.
Yeah, they're still diverging, bro.
Yes, they're still diverging, and that gets less and less the more distant you get from the source.
Hold up, though. You were talking about two different targets. This is Eratosthenes, right?
No, the target in this case.
Whatever and wherever
Wait a minute. The target in this case is the entire Earth.
No.
Yes.
No, because it's not one light ray hitting the entire Earth. It's a bunch of light rays. So it's not one
target.
target.
That. The bunch of light rays hitting the Earth are less and less divergent the more distant the Earth is from the sun.
Yeah, from one location. But when you're talking about
the entire Earth, you don't get to reword what I'm saying.
Yes, you do, bro, because we're not talking about the entire Earth. We're talking about two different locations. We're talking about Eratosthenes.
I am talking about the entire Earth, which therefore covers every arbitrarily chosen points on the Earth.
Okay, so you're talking about a whole bunch of divergent light rays hitting one giant target. What's your point?
And those divergent light rays become less and less divergent the more distant that target is from the light source.
Yeah, relative to the other light source, the other light rays that are no longer hitting that target because it's getting.
We're not concerned with those
What's your
other.
point? What's your
We're
point?
not concerned with those other light rays because they're not hitting anything.
Again, what's your point?
Those light rays hitting the thing that we're concerned with are less and less divergent the more distant you are.
That's fine, but
What is the
when
point?
when you're looking at
And-
two different targets, the light rays are still divergent, right?
And they're less and less divergent the more distant you are.
That's fine. And now you have two different targets, not just one target, two different targets, and you inject a whole bunch of atmosphere, which causes them to diverge even more because of refraction.
Refraction
Then you
does not
have what?
refraction does not cause more and more divergence. What are you talking about?
Well, technically it is because it's the density of the atmosphere and the light going through that atmosphere.
And one
That's
more
not
thing,
divergence,
that
though,
angle
that's
would be like-
refraction.
that angle would be like 0.1 degrees difference if the sun is 93 million miles away.
It'd be even smaller than that, but yeah, it's going to be a tiny angle. That's the point.
Yeah, and you would not be able to find, and the atmosphere is full with the moisture and the water, and it acts like a lens, and it's definitely, you can't be precise with this.
Well,
the proof of the radius of the Earth for sure.
Well, as you know, Snell's law says that the angle change in a beam of light when it goes through a medium is dependent on the angle that it comes in. The more...
Hang on a second. Hey, Bormito, you got to mute your mic or something. Whatever you're doing there, rustling sound, it's making things very, very
guys.
illicit. Try, just fix it. That's all that matters. Thank you.
Yeah, the closer to vertical the light hits the medium, the less it will be bent. That's why measurements like Eratosthenes were done at local noon.
Bro, you keep on talking about lights that don't hit the target. You're talking about lights that we don't care
No,
about.
I'm not.
We care about the ones that are actually hitting.
Yeah, the ones that are actually hitting are the ones that he was measuring at local noon. Therefore, they went through the atmosphere near vertically, reducing the amount of refraction to a minimal amount.
Except that you have all of this atmosphere again, so they're going to be the most divergent that they'll ever be. Again, we're only limiting our scope to lights that actually come to Earth, right? And those lights are going to be more divergent than they'll ever be throughout their journey, because they keep on getting more and more divergent as they go through more and more atmosphere.
No, that's not what refraction does.
It's Snell's law. Whether you want to
Snell's law does not.
Who cares?
That's not what refraction does. That's not what
Again,
Snell's law says. Snell's law doesn't say
the
that.
Ordinary ray and incidence ray.
Yeah, it will bend that ray. It will not make it more divergent.
It's going to be the most divergence it'll ever be throughout its journey from the sun.
Bending the light ray and diverging light rays are different things. Refraction does one and not the other.
Again, forget the refraction. Maybe I misspoke, but the point is, Snell's law says that these light rays that are hitting
Snell's law is about refraction. Snell's law is about refraction, and refraction does not say, refraction of the atmosphere does not say that the light will diverge more.
Depending on the gas, it will diverge because it's maintained. Yes, it will, bro. It's gonna. If it was a perfect isotropic medium, then the incidence ray will just be like exactly equal to the ordinary ray, and it'll just go at that angle.
Yeah, that's bending. That's not divergence.
When light bends away from each other, when different light rays, adjacent light rays bend away from each other, what are they doing?
All right. This is about, you're talking about diverging from its original path, not diverging separate from the other light rays coming along the same corridor. Different topic.
He's just saying it's at the end of the journey, so it's went through the most stuff by the end of the journey. Is that a fair summary?
That's not what he's saying. He's saying more than that.
He just agreed with me, dude. You gotta listen. You gotta listen, guys.
We are listening, Don. Shut up.
What percentage you hear why they do this?
You're fucking wrong, Don.
They're
Shut up.
Slytherins, man. They're Slytherins.
He's just trying to say, and I want to know what he means when he says it. We got to at least allow him to say it, guys. So percentage, just saying by the end of the journey,
you've already told us what he's saying, Don. You've already told us.
Heard him. I want to hear it again.
Don, you've already told us what he's saying, and you're wrong. It's not what he's
Thanks
saying.
for listening.
Shut up.
That is what
That's
what I
step
was saying.
one.
The
That's
lights
step
are
one of what
divergent
he said.
as they go through more and more atmosphere. That angle is maintained, and they get more and more divergent.
Okay, what's step two though? Percentage. Then where were we going after that?
That's just the point, that you can't use Eratosthenes and claim that the lights are parallel when they're the most divergent. That
We're not claiming that they're perfectly parallel. Well, I'm saying that they're parallel enough for the procedure described.
Except you can't claim that, knowing that through this 93 million miles, it'll get more and more divergent.
It won't.
It will, though. That's how the atmosphere, that's how Snell's law works.
There's not 93 million miles of atmosphere for one thing.
It doesn't matter. There's 93 million miles of gas.
Just to help, in case you're honestly confused here, diverging from the original path and two previously nearly parallel beams of light diverging from each other are different things. Refraction will, let me finish. Refraction will cause it to divert from its original path, but two beams going through that same medium will not more greatly divert from each other.
Yes, they will. You don't know how Snell's law works, obviously.
Yeah, Slack. I'm a little confused because I kind of thought light always constantly was divergent. Constantly was.
Yeah. Once again, we're talking about the light that's actually hitting the thing that we're talking about, not all of the light coming from the source. Yes, all of the light coming from the source is diverging, but the light hitting the target is becoming more and more, or closer and closer to parallel the further that target is from the light source.
I could see you finding some parallel rays, but like I just thought that at every point, wherever it is, it's spreading out. Oh, like every piece of it's spreading.
Yes, and that spreading is getting smaller and smaller the further away.
Okay.
Still, I don't accept this as the calculation for Earth's radius.
You're not going to get a perfect answer, but it shows that Earth is round.
But do you have any other measurements?
What about just the solar path, and then like you could play the game where if you want to go gotcha, you assumed it's a globe. If you want to play that game, that's fine. But like, are you trying to play that game, or are you just wanting a measurement, a land measurement of some kind? Are you trying to do the globe?
I want some more information. I want something more that would make me decide what's going on in this world. It's flat or it's not.
Right.
How about you get that guy to answer what happens to light when it goes through a denser medium?
That depends on what angle it goes through the medium at.
Why don't you explain millions of
All right, so
if it hits the interface at a right angle, nothing happens.
Okay, and if it doesn't?
One thing what I'm sure is about that, it definitely acts as a lens, because you can see when the moon rises, it's much bigger, and when
it doesn't rise much bigger.
It's much more. But
it's not.
It works as a lens.
This is a well-known perceptual illusion. If you actually hold out like a ruler or something and measure the moon at moonrise and at zenith, you'll find that they're the same size and width.
No, but I see with my own eyes, it's not. It's like 2 times bigger. Sometimes I see it. It's so huge. Sometimes you can see it.
Yeah.
It's definitely looks different, and it's the
that's an illusion. That's an illusion. That size difference is not actually there if you measure it.
But lens effect there is.
Yeah. The only thing that
what you talk about.
The only thing that the atmosphere will do to the size of the sun or the moon at the horizon is squish them a little vertically, make them smaller vertically.